9 at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
Welcome everybody to our Daily Gun Show. Come to you live every weeknight at midnight Eastern, and we talk about guns for about an hour. So this is episode 1247. We've been going live every single weeknight to talk about guns, Second Amendment issues, and that kind of thing since 2016. So the show has changed format or evolved or changed over the years, and at this point it is mostly an open conversation designed to be the advanced course for Second Amendment topics. So unlike some other shows that are talking to people who are in their first rodeo, we are talking to people who are not at their first rodeo and with people who are not in their first rodeo, attempting to move the conversation from the polite introductory type of conversations that happened or happen with every new group of or every wave of new gun owners. And it's natural and normal for a bunch of people who either discover communities online or discover communities online focused on firearms to come into the mix and be part of a conversation or discover the conversations are there and then take part. And there's going to be people that welcome those people in, and there's people that are content to only welcome, and then there's people that will maybe go on to the advanced level, and that's what we're here for. And that's the goal, is to create a place to have a conversation that evolves from that initial conversations that sometimes people have. All right, so with that in mind, I've been posting in the description of the video on YouTube, although we also stream out to Twitter or Twitch, I guess, and then eventually LinkedIn is our goal, to stream out to those platforms live. But in the description of the YouTube video for now, there are some links to videos that I checked out earlier today. So first off, there's a really good one from the DC Project. Diana and her friend, in a very short video, it's like 2 minutes and 50 seconds or something, they explain what they're trying to do, go to Georgia door to door, that they're inexperienced and unsure if it's even effective, but they're doing it anyway. How they decided to do it, what enabled them to do it, what they did, and they did that very quickly. All of that was done with some graphics on the screen. They went to an NRA website and followed a tree there, a menu, to a link that provided an app which enabled their they could choose where they wanted to go, and then it gave them a route so that they'd be part of a greater organized effect on the door-to-door campaign. And then they videotaped some examples of going and some of the techniques and stuff. Very effective little video, inspirational and educational. They talked about the how and the why to be boots on the ground in Georgia, not just the virtue signaling, guess where we are and you're not, or here's where your money's being spent. Because guess what? They're not really taking any money. I don't know if there's any way to donate to DC Project. There must be, there should be, but I've never heard them ask for money. Instead, they're just saying, here's what we're doing. If you want to be part of it, here's how. And it's inspirational. And that's what's going to be the future of 2A. Everybody who exploits these kind of situations, the people who get rich by observing and reporting on what gets done or the results of what gets done, that's the norm. That's what we see a lot of, and that's what this show, and it's here to shine the light on the other stuff that's getting done. And the DC Project is definitely I'm a big fan of that. It's not just an alternative to what's been done. It's an effective operation. It's 5 years in, and they're evolving, right? They haven't stood still at all. So that's a great one. Go check out that video. I posted it on Parlor today. I posted it on YouTube, whatever, the community tab, which is a way to put it permanently on YouTube. It still gets distributed like a video to my 160,000 subscribers, but it also is there permanently on that channel. And now, of course, it's being broadcast on the Daily Gun Show channel, on the links there in the description here, and then on Twitch, whatever the hell good that is. But it's a purple one, and it's new for the kids, the youth. So next up is the Virginia Citizens Defense League. They do a monthly online meeting, unlike some of the other cowards that do their monthly meetings in private behind closed doors and barely put out a secretary's list in 2020. Virginia Citizens Defense League has 4 of them on the screen doing their thing, and effective. They're planning their rolling rally in Virginia. If I was closer, I'd definitely be part of it in the van, right? They're getting people together to drive past the Capitol because of all the bullshit. They're not going to be able to gather like they'd like to. So instead, they're going to basically have a parade for Second Amendment and for freedom on their lobby day, which is coming up in next month in January. So lots of work. They've been doing that for a couple of months now. And it's great to be able to see the progress and the activity, because people in Virginia are pretty active right now. So many people that are going to waste your time and air time or internet time, whatever this is called, complaining and moping, aren't paying attention to the momentum that already started in the past and is now being encouraged, or the flames are being fanned by not just the apathy, but the slights against Second Amendment rights, Second Amendment protected rights. So Citizens Defense League, or Virginia Citizens Defense League, kicking butt out there. Really interesting. If you haven't watched state level organizations monthly meeting, if you haven't attended one for your own meeting, they don't offer it live or they don't offer recording of it. Check it out. It's very similar to any other. I mean, even the Bass Club meetings I've been to back in the day, or like any other kind of club I've ever been a part of that had a monthly meeting, it was very much like that. Except instead of having to go to some place that you have to park far away and walk into some community center or gymnasium or some shit where there's chairs set up, some shooting range in the middle of the night, it's just online. So it's super convenient and easy, and now you can just watch it as a rerun. I think it's like 2 hours long. It's worth watching if you got nothing else to do. But it's also fun watching them live because you get to see the interaction with the actual members. And, we don't have that in Arizona, so I have to watch it happen in Virginia. The Daily Bullet is the Second Amendment Foundation's effort to have a daily show. So they have interviews with people, and they interviewed Mark, somebody from Maryland, Shall Issue. We could have mumbled more, but you get to see people who mumble. So that was that interview. And then there was Riding Shotgun with Charlie, had a chick from Hand Over Your Guns, Hold Your Guns, Let Me Hold Your Guns, talking about that organization. Again, they were driving around people who are Amish, driving around in horse and buggies in the rain. So that was an interesting one to watch, listen to. Let's see, then you got a video from Walt again, because Walt pays for the show now. It's basically just some shilling for Walt at this point. Some video where he's talking about how Black Diamond Firearms supports new gun owners. So he's making a video. He's trying to exploit this whole thing on the internet and use YouTube to his advantage. So he's posting a video. It was all right. So I posted a link to it here. Monday night shootout. Oh, that was Ellis yesterday. Had a show, so I posted a link to it here. And then you got, Black Cat did a video called Final Gear Loadout for 2020. I watched that. It was okay. He has like a 14-pound bag, and he basically talks about all his gear. So it was interesting. I'm curious to see what others might say about it. Let's see. So that was the stuff from there. Just got done watching a couple of other ones I'm not going to link to. With that, we've been calling this an open conversation. So here's how it works. It's 10 minutes in. I look at the stuff that we've been looking at earlier in the day. We throw out the link right there. And when the link is out there, you are able to click on that link and then join the show, be part of the conversation, be active. Barbecue jumps in. You always just when you just hang out. When you're in the union, just lean on a broom or lean on a shovel all day. The barbecue does half the time. But I appreciate it because otherwise I'm in here by myself. So jump in, be part of the show. It's about evolving the conversation, or use your little typey things over there and type words into the text part, and then we can interact with that part of the show also. So it looks like Walt jumped in before DJ and before barbecue. So I don't know what happened there. Was there a payoff?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to jump in yesterday, but I couldn't. So I figured I figured I'd jump in when I actually was able to. My wife's out shopping right now. My kids are down, so I got a little bit of time.
Are you ready? Are you ready to set the internet on fire? Burn some bridges at the end of 2020?
Yeah, I'm working on my content plans right now. I'm trying to think about how I want to shift things up myself. But I'm thinking I'm ready to. I think what I want to do is I want to start playing a lot more aggressive, and I want to start. Now I feel like I'm starting to get situated in the space, and I'm starting to feel like I'm coming out a little bit more in the content that I'm making, and I'm getting to know. Like you said before, we've seen kind of a cycle now. And this was kind of my first exposure to writing that as an activist with what was going on with the ATF, everything people were saying about it, what was right, what was misinformation, what was grift, what wasn't, seeing how the community interacted, seeing what happens when we push and try something new. So the way that I figure it, I'm like, yeah, we kind of got a handle on what's going on in the ball game now. So let's start playing ball. It's kind of where I'm at now. So I'm thinking about restructuring some things and trying some different segments out and getting ready for some plans going into the new year. But that's kind of what I've got on the docket here.
Here's how it works. A ninja doesn't just have throwing stars, right? Because that would be a monolithic ninja, it'd be a worthless ninja, basically. You're not going to just have a sword, right? You're going to have a combination of ninja weapons, and you're not going to necessarily telegraph to the opponent which ninja weapons you got on you. So don't feel obligated to go down one path or like only have one talent or thing to offer. Every once in a while, you got to jab a spike into somebody when they're not looking. Or maybe a wooden pole to make a point.
I figure the arguments shouldn't change. The education side of what I'm doing probably shouldn't change. That's what I want to keep because that's kind of the core of the channel is having the conversation. I think where I want to get more aggressive is on the efforts to get people moving on Second Amendment issues. And I really want to focus on how I can do that. Oh gosh. Oh yeah, I've got some.
You got my dog on your wall.
Yeah, that's actually it's actually a bear painting. It's yeah, I got some of these like metal posters or whatever. So you actually hang them up with like a magnet. And so I have
Watch out.
up over there behind me. I've got the guy falling from Mad Men. If you're familiar with that show, it's on Netflix, I think still. Really good. It's like theater played out in on TV as a series. 6 seasons. They cut it off right when they needed to end it. So anyway, so I have that guy because it's kind of just a little homage to my, I guess my advertising career, my marketing and psychological operations. It's my little kind of homage. And then, yeah, I've got that bear because my wife liked it, and this is our bedroom. And then I got my anti-centrist plushie from J-Reg, which, yeah, that one's interesting. So. And it's one of the I don't know if you've seen the pole ball memes where it's like every political ideology has a little ball. Let me grab that real quick. Keep talking, but I'll grab that and show you. It's kind of ridiculous.
All right. Well, I was gonna rage about something I was watching earlier, but I'm not interested in doing that. So Walt's looking for something. DJ and Barbecue jumped in. Let's see. frustrating watching the comments come up on the real YouTube because it takes like a while for it to go up to Canada and then eventually get pooped out the duck so that I can click on them over here. So I think they were talking about my, what do you call it? The duck here lets me rebrand, right? So I got my old dog there. There's my new dog. And then there's like a target. So they're saying it looked like you had a thing on my dog.
Oh yeah. Oh, I didn't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm over here doing a house tour because I've got my anti-centrist ball. He's got every single political ideology that could possibly make someone mad, all in one thing. So, low-key, I'm very excited about this because I feel like it speaks to my personality and my ideology at such like a deep level where people just can't identify what the hell I am. So they hate me just as much as they hate everything on this ball that doesn't represent them, you know? And it's an analogy for my life on YouTube, I suppose.
I can remember times when I've paid more attention to politics, but I wonder if there's just times when the world has paid more attention and less attention to politics and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if it's something that's just always there and people tune into it, or if its volume raises once in a while. But there's definitely a lot of politics stuff coming out, a lot of identifying things with politics and stuff where I can remember decades where nobody even talked about it really. Or at least
yeah. Like, I mean, like there's so many opportunities with politics right now. Go tell people on the left, be like, hey, you know what would really troll the crap out of the right wing right now? If a whole bunch of black people got guns. That would make them so mad. You remember Reagan? That would make them so freaking mad. And then they go out and do that, and then they become 2A supporters over time because now they're in the community, and now we can nurture, right? And we can show them that 2A is for everybody, and that would be the ultimate trap, wouldn't it? If only we could, think outside the box sometimes, right? And that type of thing, I think, works really well. So I'm only half joking. I think that's actually a pretty legitimate strategy, but I digress.
Yeah, well, it's already not even a thing. I mean, it's half a decade into that already. So there's like 3 or 5 major organizations. So you can say that's already been established, depending on how you look at it. Certainly starting. So where are we going? Like I say, I want to have a place for discussion to go. We don't necessarily have to tune it up to 11 every night, but at the same time, they have electronics here that can handle being tuned up to 11 every night, regardless of how many people come out to watch the noise that can. So the people that are watching are part of the show. Wheels out there, DJ. I guess DJ's in here also. Well, Erstwhile is out there. So what's happening? Where are we taking the show tonight?
I think DJ should drive. DJ, where are we going?
Oh, are you saying stuff? We just barely heard a mic.
No, I'm not sure I should be driving anywhere after my trip to the ER today. Oof. I got some Norcon in me, and it simply would not be safe or responsible. But I'll passenger, so.
Guns is driving.
I'm gonna say this is DJ's birthday, and he's going to the ER. This is no good.
Oh no, man, I'm all right. I just thought that, in case somebody decided to stop by my place today, that I go out and push broom every, 2 or 3 inches as the snow was falling, and I ended up falling on my own ass. But I just don't bounce as much as I used to. So X-rays are fine. Gave me some pain relief, and I'm at home and doing fine.
Oh, so you were shoveling ice, fell over, and then had to go get X-rays. So you have COVID.
Yeah. Well, and actually, and I'm kind of getting tired of the COVID questions every time because I just want to, I stop them and I say, I am asymptomatic of any conditions related to COVID-19. Well, would you please just answer my questions one at a time? Yes, if you insist. And so, I try not to be so terse, but, I was not comfortable at the time. But they did not. I'm sorry? No, they just didn't want to release me until I would allow them to test me. And I said, no, I've had 3 or 4 other providers that I genuinely trust who have told me that false positives are far too dangerous for the general populace now, that they don't recommend it. And again, I just stuck with, I'm asymptomatic. You've provided the care that you're going to, and I wish to be dismissed. And they kind of just, I don't think it was me imagining that they stretched out my wait for another 3 or 4 hours. It was ridiculous. And I'm a smoker, and there's no way I was going to ambulate outside. And they have all the signs and security and whatnot that will not even let you have to cross the damn street these days at any health complex. So I was an unhappy camper.
But happy birthday. I mean,
yeah.
Thanks, man. Past the half century, man. Past the half century.
Congratulations. How does it feel?
Old.
I believe it.
All right, so girl out there saying, I want to take over DGS and discuss music, which is possible if there's such a thing as 2A music or music.
Did you hear about Far Cry 5 and the whole feigned outrage over that?
Is that one of the bands the kids listen to these days?
No, Far Cry 5 is a video game, right? And it's like a survival, it's not like a true survival game, but it's kind of like it's like a wilderness and stealth shooting game. And so you have to get to know your weapons and modify them as you play the game, right? So they set that one, I believe it's Far Cry 5. Let me fact check myself. Yeah, so they set that one in Montana, and basically it's the player against like a Doom cult, right? That's just insane. And so they have a song called Keep Your Rifle by Your Side, where the developer, which is Ubisoft or Ubisoft, depending on how you want to pronounce it, but they went ahead and said, it's going to make these people seem really freaking crazy and have this cult look really scary to everybody, is if we have a song where they talk about keeping a rifle by their side to come to the common defense in the event that like outsiders try to take over their town. And lo and behold, this like gospel choir song that they wrote wound up being turning into a little bit of an anthem and a meme for Second Amendment groups. And can I say the B word here? Can I say the big igloo word? The Hawaiian shirt wearing people. And basically anyone that's like anti-establishment and pro-gun or pro-2A, it wound up kind of being like a rallying anthem and meme. So that's probably the most 2A music thing I've seen, where I'm like, oh, hell yeah. Like they didn't know what they were stepping in. They didn't realize that this game about America centered in like that takes place in Montana. When they have pro-gun music in the game, that people would love it and start tapping their foot to it. So it was kind of interesting, but I digress.
They didn't know, or they're bigger than Hollywood and they totally know what would make.
I think the game had like quite a bit of revenue. I mean, the Far Cry games are AAA titles.
I'm saying, like, the fact that they're bigger than Hollywood makes you think that their finger is on the pulse. They know what people want. They know what is going to be cool, or they're singing they're the piper. They're the one creating what's cool. So anything they put out there is cool. So that's what I'm saying. Do they get to then call innocent? That's like, isn't that the same? Well, not same, but isn't that similar to Facebook or YouTube playing their duplicity bullshit? Like, oh, we're just the biggest entertainment thing out there. We don't create trends, or like,
they create trends. Absolutely. So like I think that game made $310 million. And it's all about
everything they put into a game. If you don't think about it ahead of time, is irresponsible, perhaps?
Yeah, I mean, but designers and like Hollywood producers, like like in any major productions you see, there's always mistakes that get made, right? Like, and there can be design oversights or plot holes or whatever. And in this case, the theme with the music was to show how crazy the cultists were. And the cultists just wound up having like conservative and pro 2A values. So like they have like RPGs and M60s. So somehow in Montana. So Yeah, it kind of wound up being interesting, but it's kind of interesting to see when the player gets to interact with the medium as well. So there's a different level of engagement than with a movie. And I think with that kind of changes it, because you're playing a game where you survive by your wits and your rifle, you know? And so when you have a song come on about working together with your friends and family to survive with your wits and your rifle, it kind of makes sense to almost be more of an anthem than some weird indoctrination thing. And I think that they were trying to, like, I think they just misread or miscalculated that, because the values of the company, I think being in Canada, are probably much different than that, if I had to guess. So, but they make a series of other tactical games too. A lot of like the Tom Clancy stuff is pretty much comes from Ubisoft, if I'm not mistaken, like Rainbow Six and Splinter Cell and all that stuff. So,
all right. So people are throwing in songs out there, I guess. So continue to do so if you feel like it. And then Patriot's been asking this question for a while. He sent me an email about it too. Thoughts on AK pistols, because he was asking about the Draco or the mini Draco somewhere, and I'm not a fan of the mini Draco all that much. It's not that good, and he's asking more about AK pistols. So I don't know. The problem is I'm not going to give you the kind of answer you want, more than likely, because I always preface it with, you know, what you're first. You can only get what's available to you, period. So you can want anything you want, but if you can't get it at your shop or you can't order it, then who cares what's available, you know, what's potential. So you can only get what you're going to be able to get. That in mind, I either have or had, I don't remember anymore, the mini Draco, and I didn't like it. It was an interesting little thing. It's stupid looking, like it's dumb looking. It doesn't look good. It looks like a broken AK more than anything. They just made it for import. It was just a thing to sell, and they didn't put much effort into making it look like anything, since I assume they figured as soon as it got here, people would start to play with it, make modified parts for it. It's got a modified gas system, and whenever you start dinking with an established platform's gas system, you're messing with the dwell, and you're messing with the part that makes the gun operate in semi-automatic as opposed to single shot. So although the mini Dracos work and stuff, I'm not a fan of having something that teeters right on the line of like, you know, operational or not. And that's where I believe those are. I've lived through the world of modifying rifles into pistols, and all the effort it took to chop barrels down and modify gas holes to make them work. And that was only done in factories for crank-offs, right, for cranks. So that was only done for the Draco, not for the mini Draco. Somebody in a factory did make a mini Draco, but they'd never give a shit about it ever working in the rain or upside down or after you did something to it. So they're made for commercial import. They look stupid, and all the parts for them are super proprietary, fake. And only thing good about an AK pistol is that it's basically a crank. So SBR it and put a stock on it. If you're going to do it by itself, it's difficult to deal with, even with two hands. And I don't know. I have no idea what they cost now. Like I say, I don't pay attention to that kind of stuff, but if they're more than a couple of $100, I wouldn't even consider them for just playing around or whatever. So it's like I say, I don't think you wanted that advice, but I'm not a big giant fan, and I'm certainly not going to encourage anybody to just go out and buy something. Yeah.
Would there be like what's the philosophy of use driving that, right? So like, I guess my question when it comes to a lot of the pistol builds is that for any platform, but I think that a lot of it is, what is it for? Because I understand the appeal for AR pistols being like, it's this kind of like sub 200 round or 200 yard gun that's going to handle stuff in these ranges. It's lightweight. It's small. Like, I get that. Like, is that the same thing that we're going for with the Draco? Or
there's no appeal to a small. The only appeal to them is if you are a unit who has to operate inside. Everybody else in the world, go get an appropriate firearm. Like, it's putting the wrong stuff with the wrong stuff for looks, not for use. So just get a regular rifle and use a regular rifle, or get a pistol. But I don't like the idea of any of that crank stuff. Just, I mean, it's not going to fall apart or nothing. It's just wasted time. It's just, well, unless we get rid of the NFA already and you can just put a stock on it, then fine. But basically the problem is that you chop a barrel off to under 10.5 inches and it's not effective anymore. So why carry a rifle? If you're going to carry something that can hit downrange, leave it so that it's effective downrange and use it at close range, fine. But don't create something that's hindered at long range so that you can use it at close range, because you've got other things that can work perfectly that are made for close range. You have a handgun, it's designed for close range. You can use a rifle at close range, fine. There's no reason to modify your rifle into a little nub just so that it looks cool because somebody in a tank needs it. Like, yeah, if I lived in a tank, I might want a crank. Like, that's what they're for, but I don't live in a tank. And I don't want to go outside and be hindered. I want to be able to have full range of my rifle. And so there. So if you just want to play around, you don't ask me my advice. If you want like advice, if it's a useful tool, no, I don't think so. I think it's just a thing to have. I mean, have them all you want, buy as many as you want, but I don't think they're useful tools.
I was going to say, I'm pretty much in the same boat. Like, unless, like, it's pretty hard for me to find a good use case for a lot of the rifles that are converted to pistols. I'm not opposed to people having them. It's just like, I understand what that use case is, but you know, if you're losing a pound, maybe a barrel and handguard so that you can do whatever, it doesn't make much sense to me. I guess on the other side of things though, like if you compared like a pistol caliber carbine, those are really popular for a lot of tasks now. They're coming back and I see the utility.
They're popular to sell, but they're horrible. I don't like them.
I don't think so. I think I mean we can. This is a good debate to have. I'm open to hearing other opinions, but I think that the benefit of having a pistol caliber round with the limited potential of that in a like close quarters environment like your house, with an additional point of contact, especially for new shooters, I think that's incredible for helping their use case. That's where I see the use case really shining.
Yeah, in a training environment or something, I save money or whatever, but in real life, again, all the same thing apply. Why hinder yourself, especially today, in a weird thing where you're going to start throwing all kinds of the extreme shit that happened this last year on top of all the extreme shit people would normally throw on top of an argument. If you're going to walk outside, then why not have full effective range of a rifle? I'm not going to walk outside with something that all effective. Look, you walk outside, every witness says you walked outside with a rifle. What'd you walk outside with? Some dingus 9mm garbage that has a brace on it, so that every witness in the neighborhood goes, this guy walked outside with an assault rifle. And what did you walk outside with? A dingus 9mm thing that can barely shoot down the street. And then what? Like somebody got into a car with 4 people with AKs and they're shooting back at you and through your picture window at whoever's gawking outside the thing because you never told them to get the hell out of Dodge when I go outside with this 9mm junk. No, if you're going to walk outside with something, be the get off my grass with an M1 Garand with a 308 in it, right? Or a 30-06, I guess. Like, no, it just makes no sense to me. The pistol caliber stuff is game playing, theoretical, and then a whole bunch of industry coddling everyone's addiction for 9mm because they wanted a H&K MP5 and they'll desperately take anything they can get that comes near it. And that wasn't a good gun anyway. Look at any cops that use it. They all got rid of it. And then what do they get? Real AR-15s, like M16s.
Sure. I mean, like, I'm not disputing that a rifle round is more effective or more versatile. I think that it's for a specific use case. So as far as terminal ballistics go, as far as end user accuracy and control, if someone wants to have an AR-15 that's just chambered in 9mm, like, why not? You know, and I think the only objections that I hear are just, well, if I needed a general purpose gun, a rifle is going to be better overall. And I would agree.
No, 9mm AR-15 platform is blowback and not gas operated. It's 2 hands on a gun in order to operate it effectively. So it's tying up your other hand and it's making it super heavy if you tie lights and stuff on it. And again, back to having no range or very limited range compared to anything else that you'd have that would require all the 2 hands and a sling and all the other stuff. So no, if you're going to do that, just take a 9mm and a Beretta. Everybody worships their Berettas. Take one of them out there. And then you don't look like the guy who walked outside with an AR-15. mean, I'm the guy who's petitioning walking outside, like the guy who's like, yeah, I'm walking outside with an AR-15. I can justify it, and there's a reason, because these guys had M6, whatever. But
Well,
most people walking outside with a 9mm thing, and then they find out, oh, it's just a bump in the night. It was a cat or something.
What if it was like a 357 Magnum, like lever action carbine?
I don't know. Lever action is totally different, because now you're talking about an action, a type of operation that doesn't, isn't dependent on the operation of the expansion of gases. And I've never heard of a 357 not leaving the barrel. That would be a broken gun or something, or a horrible piece of ammo. Like a hand load or something that was just miserable. Yeah, that's totally different. When you're talking semi-auto 9 versus lever action, and talking about, actually, if you're taking my idea of a real AR-15 versus a lever action 30-30, walking outside with a lever action, you're just the old hick who brought his lever action gun out to to a cat knocking over a trash can or something. I was just going to shoot a raccoon. To most of the neighbors, you're just some hunter who brought out his wooden hunting gun. Where I would walk outside with the AR-15, and they'd be like, "Oh, you brought an AR-15, you brought an assault weapon outside." So I could see the lever action being a compromise, and then Clover's happy. He's also getting paid like barbecue. They're just sitting back there eating barbecue, getting paid to watch us talk all the time.
That's what you do when you're not 2A enough. You just kind of hang back. Stay on.
It's like being 1A. It's like being in the 1A. That's why they're on the bottom of this thing. You forgot.
I don't think I even qualify as 1A tonight. I mean, I haven't done anything at all for the 2A period today. Nothing.
All right. So with that, what, you want to plug your other show? You didn't? Jumped in here to plug his other show just because he was 2A in today. So what's going on? There's some sort of other letter happening? We're switching subjects, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to switch subject. That's not why I jumped in. I just jumped in to give you crap about not being 2A enough, because I am.
No, I mean, unless you guys want to harp more on it. I'm basically not a big fan of short rifles for anything real, and I'm definitely not a fan of 9mm two-handed guns. It's ridiculous. If you guys want to harp on that, we can. I mean, I'll keep going, but I think we made our positions clear. You all love them, and I hate them. But we are getting a bunch of songs coming in. Otherwise, if somebody else wants to throw in to Patriot on why he's basically desperately trying to buy a micro Draco or whatever, the macro Draco, what do they call it, the mini Draco. So he's just looking for justification. All he needs is one person to go, I'd buy it, and then boom, he's buying it.
I mean, like, if you need me to be that guy, if I had all the money in the world and I can own whatever pistols and SBRs and fancy doodads, tax stamp or not, and preferably no tax stamp because we get rid of the NFA. But yeah, I'd buy one. I don't know that for that use case where you need it, because you just want to have something bigger. Why you wouldn't just go with a larger caliber handgun, like handgun, not like AK.
No, so when you say that, I don't want it to sound like you can't. If you just are looking for something to throw fireballs,
I mean, go for it.
Fireballs, like, seriously, it does throw the biggest fireball. So if you're just looking for a recreational gun to just have fun with, especially at dusk, then yeah. And I don't know, it's not disaccurate. I mean, it will shoot. It's just that you loses all energy. You're throwing all that energy into a fireball.
All right, so I want to introduce a new segment here. Patriot, I'd like you to stick your hand out. We're going to call this the blind leading the blind. So just follow me here.
This always.
I say you want it, get it. That's mainly the reason I buy majority of the guns I have is I want it, I get it. No, not typically a tactical purpose or anything else. Like I said, just I see it, I want it, I buy it. And that would be a good reason to get your AK pistol.
Just so people thinking of that, I did buy the duck. So when you see a bunch of people in here, feel free to keep jumping in. I can cram 10 people into the duck now because we're paying for it. Don't feel like, oh, it's full, I can't jump in there. We can put 10 people.
Hey, I did have a Draco PAP 85. It's in the 5.56. I love that gun.
Hold on. Draco is a Century Arms Romanian small AK that was made off of a Romanian AIMS.
Exactly.
A
So I had the
PAB,
mini.
Yugoslavian gun designed after a Krink M92 or something. And
Okay,
then
I'm
they-
getting them mixed up.
yeah, so you're just taking two short AKs, but that's like taking something from one country and another country. And
Okay,
some
okay. I know it was the PAP 85, and it was in 5.56.
big difference there is a Yugoslavian gun has a 1.5 mil receiver. So an AK is made out of a metal taco, and then everything like a barrel is jammed in instead of a piece of meat, and then a stock is jammed in instead of a piece of lettuce, and then they sprinkle in some trigger parts, and then you got an AK. That's literally how they make them. That's how you get street AKs. And then in Yugoslavia, they make it out of a thicker corn tortilla, and in Romania, they make it out of a cheap ass corn. What is it? Flour tortilla. So it's only 1 mil thick. So the Dracos feel like a lighter gun, and like they feel like they're made out of literally a third or whatever it comes out to, a third less metal, where the one you've got, the Yugoslavians, have a thicker receiver and a like a trunnions that come out, and the front trunnion is stockier on some of them. So yeah, it's like almost like a Cadillac versus the old Yugo. Like it's like a nice car versus the cheapest version of things that hold four wheels and an engine. So that's one of the reasons I'm a fan of the Draco, because they cost like $700, I think, and they're literally like a screen door with like some rivets in it, where yours is, like a bunch of nice, craftsman tools or something.
Yeah, I had a C250, and it had the double action trigger. I hated that thing, and I went to a gun show just determined to get rid of it on something. And the only thing I saw was PAP 5, and I liked that it was 5.56, so I didn't have to start buying any, Russian ammo. And so I traded in that gun and $150. So I pretty much got it for about, my gun was worth about $350, and so got it for, what's that, 600, 500. But this was 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 4 years ago.
All right. So now I am. What is this? Okay. So next we're going to go to. I think that was the only other side question before the songs. So here's what I'm thinking: is we'll do some sort of a battle of the bands type of thing. Where we vote up these songs as we go through them and see which ones get the most votes or something, and then that way whoever suggested that song wins, because somehow by association they own that song, I guess. So if that works for everybody, trying to figure out where they start.
Oh God, we have to guess the audience now. This adds so many layers to the game, man.
What? No, this is we're judging the audience basically. So we get.
Oh, okay. Okay, we're judging. I thought the audience was gonna. Okay, gotcha.
No. We judge, and then they basically live with our decisions, and our decisions help formulate their existence. So let's see. I think it starts.
If we're going to be fair and balanced, we need to get Angelina to jump in. We need that West Coast voice of youth.
We'll see. There's a link. The link's out there.
Come on, Angelina.
We got them
So
all here. What are you talking about?
Ash Guns of
All right.
Whatever. I've never even heard of that.
Oh, yeah. I think Guns of Brixton right there. I mean, that's a tree topper. I think that's going to be hard to unseat. When they kick in your front door, how you going to come with your hands on your head or on the trigger of your gun when the law come down? Yeah, it's a hard one to beat. Paul Simonon knew what he was talking about.
No idea. I've heard words there, but is that the lyrics, I guess? What year was that made?
Yes, sir. Oh, Guns of Brixton would have been about 76, 77.
And Clash is a bunch of English people who are mad at the Queen.
Yeah.
So I've seen movies and stuff, and they mention the Clash, but that was not my cup of tea. Let's look at that. I put tea in there. So then we got another English band, I think, The Alarm, 68 Guns.
Yep.
Are these like songs about the IRA?
No, the Alarm are actually Welsh.
All right, whatever. So, Happiness is a Warm Gun. No idea what that is. I think that's the Beatles.
Yeah,
Yep.
correct.
Is that any good? Oh, it
Yep.
says right here. I don't know if I know that one. You would think I would know it. Does it ever even say that in the song though?
Yeah, that's how it starts.
Oh, then shit, I can't think of it. Is it old Beatles or hippie Beatles?
Mm-hmm. It's 68, I think.
So hippie Beatles.
Yeah.
So let's see. Patriot saying he bought his daughter the newest iPad and a pencil. She hasn't put it down since Christmas. Into the graphics like crazy. Yeah, I'm the same way. I was really thinking about getting one of them things. One of these days when I pay off some credit cards, I'm going to get one of them. Because I got a friend who lords it over me that he's got one. He doesn't do anything with it. He just draws these cartoons and doesn't do nothing. Janie's got a gun. So that is
Aerosmith.
Aerosmith. Yeah.
Any votes for any of these? Who's voting? All right, we're the ones voting. So any of these?
Well, if we're talking about like which song is the strongest Pro 2A,
all you got to do is throw it's like a checkbox. You don't have. It's not like you only get to vote for one.
Jamie's Got a Gun is about like domestic violence, isn't it?
Yeah, basically.
And it was Jamie innocent in this because I remember it was like what did her daddy do or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Jamie broke her dad for being weird.
So like, but did he actually do anything or did she just like shoot him? Right.
Yeah, that's the implication. What did her daddy do?
Like, so we're assuming that, you know, she did. I don't know.
All right, so
this is like barely like I barely listen to this music. I'm a millennial.
It's hardly a banner or whatever you're gonna say. Like, is that the right word? No.
Like, we probably shouldn't be using bad examples, which is going to be the issue with a lot of like hip hop and whatever, right? Like,
perhaps.
So like, and a lot of like country too, for that matter. Like, there's a lot of reckless examples. So we want strong, good 2A examples, right?
Right, exactly. Just as like say, there's just
it says that Janie's got a gun. It's like, what did her daddy do? He jacked a little bitty baby. Now, I don't know what that means.
Well, that's completely open to interpretation, but I think we can all default.
But it's the connotation to me is that that's molestation or some weird, not to her, but maybe to her.
Yeah, it didn't mean theft from a nursery.
Maybe it was her baby he molested, his granddaughter. He molested his granddaughter or something.
I don't know.
You know, I remember several months ago, we're all just sitting out in the chat while you played music at 1.5 and 2 times speed. You could just go and YouTube these songs and speed them up to avoid the copyright strike.
Oh, yeah, we've done that before. Definitely. Probably I can think of 3 times at least that we've done that. I just don't feel like doing it right now. My computer's 3/4 logged down doing something else. It's, let's say, critical. So I'm just doing this show to give myself a break from that. So I'm not loading it up with a bunch of shit that might make it crash. I'm not even really going to screen share if I can help it. Saturday Night Special. That's another one. You know, I don't really pay attention to the lyrics because it's too old for me. That's I don't like Leonard Skinner, I guess.
It's got a barrel that's blue and cold. It ain't good for nothing but putting a man 6 feet in the hole.
Yeah, exactly. It's basically anti-gun, right? Give Me 3 Steps. Is that a different song?
Yeah.
And that's
Another
like
Skinner.
a bar fight. Like, well, here's gun owners getting in a bar fight. Drunk gun owners.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, son, it ain't no fun staring straight down a 44.
Definitely. I talk about the tablet. And then we got Cocaine Blues.
Oh, that title already.
Yeah, that's definitely he shot his old lady down, so he definitely shot his cheating wife, so that's not pro gun.
Now, like, what are we going to throw out like Eminem's like Guilty Conscience next?
Well, or Hey Joe.
I
caught my wife cheating. I have a gun. Like,
yeah, Hey Joe's another one of those that's I didn't know it was like a Pro 2A thing.
Well, I think we kind of all ran wild with it a little bit. We weren't being so conscientious to potential audiences or things like that. Yeah, I mean, we're just having like I said in the comments, we're having a great time with this.
Country Boy Can't Survive was mine, and I do believe that's Pro 2A because it's got a shotgun, a rifle, and a four-wheel drive, and a Country Boy Can't Survive. In other words, I don't need nobody else, right? Now, there is the part where he's talking about his friend in New York City, right? And that how he wished he could take his 45 and, spit some beech nut in the dude's eye that killed him, right? He's talking about he wished he could avenge his friend, but he's not talking about actually committing a crime.
And his friend wasn't killed by a man with a gun. He was killed by a man with a switchblade knife.
Right.
Like I still, I don't know. Like I feel like we're coming up on like pumped up kicks, like
Yeah.
Right.
and like celebrating like the worst, worst of like.
Hey, we didn't write these songs.
I know. I just like I think it just kind of goes to show how like I don't know how garbage gun culture can be like in America.
The Overton window happens when no one does anything to resist, or nobody says like, "Hey, that song was okay," except for your part where you threw guns under the bus. Like, maybe quit doing your next song. If we all just shut up and sing along, then we're watching the Overton window move.
I don't know. Like I don't. I guess like I might be like the only person. I'm not gonna do the. I don't want to play the route of being like. How would I put it? Like that's a very. I feel like it's a very snowflake move, if that makes sense. So like I don't want to be the one complaining that your music wasn't Pro 2A enough, or that like you threw 2A under the bus. It's just like you know what I mean. It's like I feel like that's something that like we would just address elsewhere by introducing positive examples of like what we want. You know what I mean? Like I don't know.
Oh, for sure. And in that regard, I guess.
I'll go ahead and label music not 2A enough. I don't care. I got the balls to label music not 2A enough.
And I think the poster boy for what we're talking about would be like Pearl Jam's Jeremy.
I don't know what that song is.
Kid who decides to do away with classmates who picked on him.
So then this is Wheeled Company talking to us about his 5561. Anything without a lot of barrel that's rifle gunpowder is designed to burn for a length of time. So yeah, they're going to throw some good fireballs. But I don't know, Clover, what do you think? 5.56 or 7.62 by 39? What's going to have bigger fireballs? It's kind of tough. Like
a short barrel length, probably
out of a pistol. Yeah, they both throw fireballs like crazy. I think the 7.62 burns a little bit longer, and I would say there's probably a difference in shape or something.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But I'm thinking there might be a difference in time. But as far as like size, I don't know, because they both have rifle amount of powder in them, and they both just throw it out there.
Right.
So back in the day when I first got the Draco and then the mini Draco, we were still shooting a lot, and we do have videos out there of shooting them at night. Blackness, and then boom, it goes off, and then blackness. 3 frames or whatever. So I don't think we ever had a 5.56 with a short barrel though. I do, but I don't know if we ever brought it out there. We did a comparison, so that's something that somebody's got a backyard might be able to do. With 2 rounds of ammo. Well, actually, it'd probably take you like 5 rounds of ammo to get a good picture. Actually, if you did it on video, you'd be able to freeze frame at a good slice, right?
I mean, shorter barrels.
Huh?
Shorter barrels are going to have bigger fireballs as just a general principle. So,
yeah, we're just saying. I don't know if it was bigger, 5.56 or 7.62 by 39.
Yeah,
can't remember.
Like if it's like the same barrel size, right? Like, I mean, that'd be interesting to see. Yeah, and also it's piston too, so. Could be a little different.
Hit them up by 2-pack. I don't know if you know
that. Yeah, if we're going down the hip hop genre, you know what I mean?
It's a good song, but definitely not.
I don't think any of them could constitute as responsible use or Pro 2A or legal use, I guess, or Pro 2A or whatever.
There's some solid voices out there.
Yeah, there's some good stuff out there.
The only one that I can think of that comes to mind is like I think of like "Trust the Shooter" by Royce the 5'9", which is probably low-key my favorite rapper ever. But
right on.
But yeah, that's the closest I think I can come, and that one's mostly just like it's like a long live the guy who's got the gun in his own hand, with his own plan. Like everybody else is screwed. That guy actually has some deterministic aspect because he can defend himself basically.
There's that dude. Now that I'm thinking about it, the Marine dude. The fuck do they call himself? He's got ammo. Black Rambo. That guy is. I'm sure his songs have guns in them, and I'm sure they're not. Reckless. Well, they might be reckless. I don't think they're reckless. But he's a Marine, and he's definitely pro 2A. I just don't listen to his shit, but I should probably listen to that shit. And then that 5 Finger one. I'm sure somebody said that in here somewhere. So now we got Lawyers, Guns, and Money.
That was for Walt.
I have like 1.5 of those things.
I don't remember Ice Ice Baby having that.
Shay with a gauge and Vanilla with a 9.
Oh shit!
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that's positive because he has Ninja Turtles hanging out with him.
Ice Ice Baby for sure. 100% Pro 2A approved.
Well, I mean, he's defending. Gunshots rang out like a bell. He grabbed his 9. All he heard was shells falling, so he's protecting himself, right? He heard gunshots. He didn't initiate it.
Yeah.
I was going to say, but that's still. Well, I mean, I guess if he's defending himself after, he's not just taking cover.
Well, but he's also cruising in L.A., right?
Yeah.
Basically, or I don't know where's Beachfront Avenue, somewhere in California for sure. I would think so.
Oh, I thought Ice Ice Baby guy was in Florida.
That could be, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, Robbie Van Winkle's from Florida. That's his real name.
Roland and the Headless Thompson Gunner.
Yeah.
What is that? Is that a song?
Yeah, it's another Warren Zevon song. Same album, Excitable Boy. That's the one with Werewolves of London on it. It's about an actual guy, actually. He was in the Congo War, South Africa. Yeah, a lot of different campaigns. Not necessarily on the right side, but.
The Loaded Gun. What is that one? I've heard that one. I think I've heard the title before.
What is it?
You said Love's a Loaded Gun.
Alice Cooper. Yeah. 1 down, 1 to go. Just another bullet in the chamber.
Yep.
Oh, I don't listen to Alice Cooper, but I've listened to his radio show, so I might have heard him talk about that before. Just a fun fact. He was in Tombstone, Arizona today. I was looking at the Instagram, and one of the shops down in Tombstone posted a picture of Alice Cooper hanging out at their shop today. So he was down in Tombstone hanging out. He lives in Phoenix.
Yeah, he relocated for golf. Golf in that radio show.
Yeah, he's on some kind of radio show. I don't listen to him anymore. Back in the old days, I used to listen to him on the radio. I Got Rights. Is that a thing, or are you getting arrested over there?
That is Hank Williams Jr. Yeah.
Oh, that's country song.
Yeah, he's talking about going into with the local gun store. Give me one of them Smith & Wesson Magnum 44s, because there's a man. Really? Yeah, he's talking about it's a vengeful act. Basically, he's talking about a pedophile that he was turned loose, right? Yeah, so unfortunately.
I was thinking it was like, oh, that's a 2A song. He's all like, I got rights. I'm going in and buying me a gun with my rights. Like, shit, it turns into some more. Why do kids got to be the victims of these damn songs?
It's a
How about 38 Special?
The band. Right. The band.
Yeah. Yes.
That's a good band name.
That's the whole band. So wouldn't they win the Battle of the Bands if that was,
because I think we talked about, like I say, we've had this chat before. This is episode, 1247. We probably had this one at least 3 times. And like you say, we've even gone in and played some of the songs and stuff. We've had versions where Bob will go in and do the lyrics of the songs. But I think that I remember something about that 38 Special band, and we were like, oh, I remember, for whatever reason, I have a bad taste in my mouth about 38 Special. I think they're anti-happening. Poker Face? What is that? I said,
Lady Gaga. It's a reference to Russian roulette. So
yeah.
Oh, okay. You don't see that in stuff very much anymore. The Revolver album. Yeah, I don't know what the hell was up with that. That was way before my time. Why they called it Revolver? Is it because of guns?
Jeez, can't be sure.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't know if I've ever heard him say it. I don't listen. I've listened to interviews, but I don't retain that kind of stuff. Let's see. Then we get to. I'm looking at the pistol because I shoot pistols more than rifles. Being a blind guy, so yeah. See, I don't know. I don't know. Then
Get like an SBR if you can. Like that would be way better. Like also being able to having the option to shoulder or having the option to brace too would be cool for you. So I mean, I don't know what you need more, but yes, Clover Tech has shot every gun.
Well, that's a song name. I'm still putting them in.
Oh, I thought it was just like a factual claim, just like
Yeah. The next one
I've been around.
though both of what I just put in the chat is true, they're song names. So
then Tommy Gun from the Clash.
yeah.
I think we've had that one in the list before. But like I said, I never listened to the Clash.
Anybody
else listen to the Clash?
If we're talking bands, or whatever, then can't rule out LA Guns.
Ooh, yeah.
Or Velvet Revolver.
And then Guns N' Roses. So then AR and AK pistol, you can have it in your car loaded. Well, okay, I don't know what the deal is. In Michigan, I think they have to register pistols or something weird. Let's see. Jump around.
Is there even a gun mentioned in that song?
It's a shotgun. Jump around is a shotgun.
Yeah.
Then you got Shoop in here.
Shotgun. Like a shotgun bang. What's up with that thing? How does it hang?
Oh, you're right. Yeah, all right. Damn, Clover's all over this. Are you cheating or you just saw this from
You don't know, God, you gotta know Shoot, man. That's from back in the day. That's Salt and Pepper, man.
No, I know. I mean, but I would have never recalled that. Even if you had been like, give me a Salt and Pepper song with guns in it, I'd be like,
What? Well, I mean, it's not about guns. It's just a reference to,
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, I would have never. If I could have Googled that. I'm sure. Anyway,
that's one of my favorite lines in a song ever. I think it's just catchy.
There's two for that one song that I never even heard of. Does anybody else listen to Clash? I just asked before. Nobody said anything. Does anybody listen to
Clash?
Yeah,
that's me. All day long, twice on Tuesday.
Oh, I know that. But anybody else listen to Clash?
Wheel does.
Wheel did.
Never heard of her.
It's the English band. It's not quite the Sex Pistols, but it's almost from back then.
Right.
Yeah.
Big Iron, is that?
Oh, yeah. Big Iron is absolutely Pro 2A.
That's a law.
Well, I thought maybe she was saying her iron was too heavy. She was asking for help because she's ironing.
Wow.
Is that a song or is that a group?
Yeah, Big Iron. No, Big Iron's a song about a ranger who uses the big iron on his hip to dispense with an outlaw.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. You said hip.
If that's the one that she's talking about. Angelina, I was not going to assume anything about you ironing clothes out there. I do see you shit talking in the comments, though. I paid attention.
Sometimes you iron curtains. I didn't assume clothes. Sometimes curtains need ironing. One of his favorites, 7 Spanish Angels.
Yeah, she reached down and picked the gun up, like the smoking in his hand. Yeah.
Who is the singer of that one? Sometimes.
Willie Nelson and Ray Charles.
Oh, really? I never heard of that one.
Man, Chris.
Marty Robbins. Wait, what?
Big Iron guy.
Marty Irons that's Marty Robbins. You're saying Big Iron?
I believe so. Yeah.
El Paso, a white sport coat, a lot of different. Yeah.
I know Marty Robbins by people who cover his songs, not by him singing them so much.
Right.
Then we got Mystic out there. She knows all about the ironing. Shoot to Thrill.
Shoot to Thrill. Play to kill. Yeah.
Too many women, too many pills. Yeah.
I don't know what that is. Is that a group or is that song?
AC/DC.
AC/DC.
But too many women and too many pills is drug abuse, and we want to condone responsible 2A. So no wall check mark.
True.
Let's see.
If they were running pills, I would make an exception. If they were like defending themselves in like libertarian activities, that would be fine.
What if it's benefits and they're just
if they use it responsibly, I don't support that.
What if the pills are fish antibiotics that they're Like, yeah.
Well, right. If they're, I mean, but why would they brag about taking antibiotics? That seems strange.
No, they're like free marketing them around. So.
Well, I mean, yeah, if they were running them, like, I mean, if you're running antibiotics, I'm going to support you. If you're, I mean, like, if you were running cocaine, you know, and you had a gun, like, I wouldn't complain about that. I'm 2A enough for that. Cocaine is your business. Just don't be high while you have a gun. Like,
what if the pharmacist and they just had a mad rush on birth control?
Yeah, I mean, if that's
these birth control pills to go out.
There you go. See, all kinds of ethical pills that you could distribute.
All right. So then we got my dad loved Marty Robbins. Okay. B-52s.
I mean, that's basically just a plain gun. Let's just be real.
Actually, come on, B-52s. They had to have a gun song. I'm thinking. I can remember her saying some stuff with gun stuff.
I mean, it's a stealth bomber, no?
The songs, though, I seem to remember some B-52 lyrics that had guns in it. The Green Girls with Machine Guns. I don't know what.
Yes. The problem with the problem with the 2A community on YouTube.
Oh,
sorry, it's a song.
And the Dylan Reloading catalog.
Would you rather be an activist or look at recoil videos?
Wait, who's the singer of that song?
The Cramps.
Oh. Is that old or new?
It's all relative.
Does anybody
Cramps
have
are old, right? Cramps are all old.
Yeah.
Does anybody have a 50 BMG I can borrow? I'm gonna wear a Speedo and do recoil videos.
Oh goodness.
I should be at like 3,000 subscribers by the end of the week if I do that.
Oh yeah, 1,000%. Just.
I am bad like Billy the Kid, John Lee Hooker. Is that the name of the song? I am bad like Billy the Kid? I like John Lee Hooker, but I don't remember the name of any of his songs. Erosion of Conformity, Bolt with a Bullet.
That got violent.
Yeah.
What are they? They're like mid 90s.
Yeah, original hardcore.
Are they original?
Hardcore.
Original in America, maybe.
Well, yeah, I mean, nothing out of the UK was hardcore. Hardcore was West Coast centric and East and West Coast centric.
Erosion of Conformity is out of the UK? I thought they were out of South America.
No, they're I thought they were SoCal. Angelina.
No, well, we don't know, I guess. I didn't listen to them. I knew people listened. Country song, I Miss Billy the Kid. I don't know that one.
Yeah, it's not real guns, but he's talking about being a kid and playing cowboy and whatever. And he's got what does he say? Two Colt 45s with white plastic grips, something like that. Talking about his cap guns, I guess.
And then Bad Company.
Bad Company is probably the most legit Pro 2A song that's been listed so far.
Is that the song or is that the name of the group?
It's the band. It's the band and the song. And the Bad Company version is much better than the new cover version.
It's also the album.
Yeah, it's a triple. It's an eponymous, a title, and a band name. So
Bad Company on the Bad Company album by Bad Company.
Now,
correct.
What's the deal? I know I've heard of the group and stuff. Is that a group that came around, or is that like one of these things where a bunch of people from other groups just made it happen and then disappeared again?
Except for, well, yeah, maybe you can consider it that for the singer Paul Rogers, but everybody else is part of something else at some point. It's really incestuous.
Okay, so then you got a plea to the countries. Then you got my PC9 and my Glock 17 have the same mags because cowboys.
That's a strange song title right there.
Yeah. Although we are including rap, so
we never talked about that in our pistol caliber debate there. Interchangeable mags.
I knew it was going to come up. He was probably raging about that at the time, right? That was at 10:45. That was like almost half an hour ago. It could have been the time we were talking about it, and he was out there commenting. And like,
you didn't even start the game yet.
What?
You didn't even start the game yet.
That's what I'm saying. It was in a time appropriate for the conversation at the time or whatever.
I do have 11:57. Both in 67, same reason.
Then we got Trooper by Iron Maiden. I like Iron Maiden posters, but I never really listened to Iron Maiden.
Oh yeah, Eddie.
But Stranger's Strange Land is pretty awesome. Aces High is pretty awesome. I had those posters. I never listened to them. I listened to it like once, and I was like, nah, I don't have to listen to the album to like the posters. I'll just get the poster.
Yeah, that Trooper cover was awesome.
I got the poster Stranger in Strangeland because it's awesome. And then I read the book and I was like, dang, this is an awesome book. And then I listened to the album again and I'm like, nah, I have no interest in listening to that album. It has nothing to do with the book or poster.
The best part of Iron Maiden is that in the 80s, they wrote a lot of really great rock songs that had nothing to do with chicks.
Yeah. 22 Acacia Avenue.
I like their shirts. Like their shirts were cool instead of just being the name of them. I mean, they were just the name of them, but it was written cool. But then they also had like Eddie, I guess, on there.
Yeah, I mean, Eddie is one of the best icons in metal.
They're writing about old British Russian wars and like.
Oh, is Iron Maiden from England?
Yeah.
Oh, no wonder.
Run to the Hill.
Start listening to Iron Maiden, and you're like, "Oh shit, I'm learning."
Yeah, exactly. Like, what is this, school? All right, so that was me taking the needle off the record because you only could listen to Iron Maiden records back in the day. Trying to remember them all. Oh, you're talking about the country. We're gonna get a military. Might as well just grab a box of rocks to throw or pebbles. You don't want to assume that like you would hurt as much as a real rock. Shotgun and rifle, 4-wheel drive, a country boy can't survive. Oh, I think that you guys have said that lyric before, didn't you?
Yep.
Yeah, country is fairly
Fertile ground.
yeah.
This is NRA country. Is that his real song?
Yeah.
Does that count as but that's the NRA. Does that count as Pro 2A?
Oh snap!
Nope.
Is it even an NRA enough? Or I mean, 2A enough?
Is it even NRA enough?
Speaking for all thuds everywhere, I could affirmatively say no.
Justin Moore has a bunch of gun songs. Who's Justin Moore?
And Clover is our FUD spokesperson.
Yeah. The resident FUD expert.
Let
Absolutely.
me say, Justin Moore actually has a song called "Guns," where he opens up with, you walk into Walmart and they sell them in the back, and then it gets into the chorus line and all that, and he's talking about instead of harassing me about my guns, why don't you go selling somebody or go bust the guy that's selling crack? He says, it's not like I'm slinging them on the block. And then the big hook line of the entire chorus is, as long as I'm alive and free, you'll never take my guns.
Hold on, did I cut out or did you cut out? As long as you're alive and free, you'll never take my guns, or you'll never take my guns from me.
You'll never take my guns.
I feel like he had missed an opportunity to say you'll never take my guns from me. If he just said free. Oh.
Right.
So don't they rhyme anymore?
There comes a time when you must rhyme. If it don't fit, you must quit. Right.
Okay, you need to mansplain to that guy how songs.
Right.
So
Thank you, Johnny Cochran.
I don't know if Clover is just describing.
No, that's his country song, and he's his daughter's going on her first date, and he's like, "Come over here, boy, and let's have a chat." He's like, "Yeah, whenever you bring her back, I'll still be here cleaning this gun."
Great song.
I don't know the exact lyrics, but
Am I still connected?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It wasn't letting me click on stuff. Now it's letting me click on stuff. Bullets in the Gun, Makojo.
Great song.
Whose group is that? What group is that?
Toby
What song is
Keith.
it? Oh. Country song then?
Yep.
Oh, Don't Take Your Guns to Town. That's an old one, huh?
Johnny Cash.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Eddie's Gun?
Leave your guns at home, Bill.
Granddaddy's Gun?
Aaron Lewis and Blake Shelton done that one recently.
Oh, Aaron Lewis, really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. He's got a good voice.
All right, so then we get gunpowder and lead. These don't
Right.
even sound, are these song titles? Everybody's getting lazy and just writing them in without capitalization or anything.
That's Miranda Lambert, and oh my gosh, I got a crush on her.
What's her name? Miranda Linger?
Miranda Lambert. Who said that? Who's got a crush on Miranda Lambert?
I do.
Barbecue.
You have heard the story. I know her personally, right?
I had no idea.
Yeah, she's like grew up like maybe an hour from me, and she was,
Introductions are in order.
right.
Yeah.
And it's not like I have her. It's not like I have her personal number or anything like that. But if I've seen her out and about, then she would probably still recognize me at this point.
Well, I know who I'm making my new wingman.
Right.
Mhm. And Clover, I think you'd be a hard man to forget.
And she's a really laid back, really cool chick too. She's not. I know several like famous musicians or whatever, because I mean it's Texas. A lot of them come out of Texas, right? But some of them are real got a stick up their butt. But she's not that way. She actually her hometown. She actually owns a store called the Pink Pistol in her hometown.
Gun shop or something else?
No, it's like a boutique type place.
9mm only. I get you.
Well, her and a couple other girls have made the group the Pistol Annies also.
Yep.
All right, Cupid's got a shotgun. Again, everybody's getting lazy. They're saying stuff. I guess that's the name of the song.
Yeah.
What's the group? I never heard of it.
Carrie
These all come-
Underwood. Carrie Underwood, another chick. Yeah.
So that's got to be a new one. And are these woke then? Like this isn't some morbid, like something horrible happened and I'm going to use a gun illegally to solve this without a justice, or
Yeah.
without a jury or whatever?
No, I mean, there's a lot of connotation. You know how the whole, it's kind of like somebody said Bon Jovi earlier. So like shot through the heart, you're to blame, right? Like the shot and all this. There's a lot of connotation with Love Gun from Kiss, right? There's a lot of innuendo and crossover with love and things like that when it comes to shooting and a gun and that sort of
a gun in instead of an arrow from Cupid.
kinda, and that's more of the Cupid's got a shotgun thing.
Rock salt's going to rip through your flesh like love.
Well, it's more like Cupid is hunting, right? He's hunting and he's using a shotgun. Cupid's hunting for her or something, and he's using a shotgun, right? He's a redneck. He's a Bud Light Cupid, man. Come on.
Right on. So let's see. Bubba shot the jukebox.
Mhm.
I've
Yep.
heard of something like
And
that.
they also say that was a justifiable homicide. Now they said that in the lyrics that he shot the jukebox, but the sheriff said it was a justifiable homicide, or was it the judge?
The sheriff said it was reckless discharge of a gun.
Yeah, reckless
And-
discharge. And then the judge said
But
it
it says reckless hell. I hit just where I was aiming.
was a justifiable homicide. Yeah.
So then I have the 357. Oh, wait. This is Woods harping on guns again while we're trying to talk about songs and stuff.
It's okay that you're wrong, G.
The 357 and Ruger. And I have a 357 and a Ruger. So what is that supposed to mean? You're saying you have a 357 rifle and a Ruger?
I have a 357 lever action rifle and a 357 SP-101 cowboy.
Now here, since you're bringing it up in the comments again, even though it was time appropriate for a while ago, here's my problem with the pistol caliber lever actions, and I've seen this on a couple of 3 different models coming out of South America. If they put a safety on a lever action, I draw the line. I ain't dealing with that. That's the same as putting a safety on a revolver for me, and especially when it's that fragile little goofy thing by the hammer. It's too fragile and goofy on a lever action, which should be a very strong gun.
We are
And
one
that
accord.
only happens on the pistol caliber ones for some reason.
I mean, then get one without that, though, right? Like, I mean,
Oh, yeah, you can get them. I'm just saying there are ones, and I won't, because I mean I'll draw the line on that. That's because that's just a fragile, dumb thing to put on a gun. You guys don't talk about that little wimpy safety they put on them.
You're talking about like the Rossies, right?
It's the South American ones, yeah. And it's only the pistol caliber ones, because I don't know why. They figure they're going to get them to kids or something. I don't know. Because they never put it on a rifle caliber. They know that the safety is just don't put the hammer back. Anyway, so Angelina's saying, I don't know, you're talking about Angelina about the cramps. Shotgun Boogie.
All right.
Nobody's just saying songs, I guess. So what's the group?
Tennessee Ernie Ford. It's old
That's an old one?
old school country. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's I don't know. I'm trying to remember what the connotation or the meaning behind it or whatever is.
I
But
remember
I know he's
it's part of a good time. It's not really I'm hunting nobody. It's not like an angry thing. It's just like a root toot.
It's like that's a pretty pro 2A because in a FUD sense, right? Because if memory serves, it's like if you're out there and you know it, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like he's hunting, and so he's like he said there's some connotation or something like he met a girl, but he's still got to go hunt dove and rabbit and other things, and he's like he hopes this chick he loves waits on him because he's got to go hunting or something, right? So it's pretty positive for the gun sense that I remember. I'd have to go listen to it. It's been a while.
So then McKay Joe was saying, looking for my first love reaction with this stem. That's how the kids are calling government handouts these days.
Stem.
So what love reaction? We are good at spending other people's money.
Mm-hmm.
What love reaction are we buying for them? I'm saying Winchester pre-64 30-06.
I go with talking about his first one and all that. If you want to go really nice, go with a Henry. Ain't go wrong with that.
If you want something that most people won't think of mentioning, I would go with Model 99 Savage.
Absolutely. Ruger #1.
Mm-hmm.
If you really want something special.
Or if you just want affordable, Marlin 336.
I think for me, my threshold is just as long as it has a loading gate on the side. I think that's the feature I'm most worried about.
And not made in New Jersey.
I've been used to tube loaded 22s and stuff for so long that honestly the tube thing it doesn't. I prefer a loading gate. Who doesn't? But the tube thing doesn't bother me.
Yeah, I'm just thinking for like defensive loads or whatever. Like if you needed the, how would we call it, the band state friendly? You know what I mean? Like where no one's ever. I don't want to say no one will ever come and take it because that's a misnomer. They'll find a way. But if you want to talk about like band state stuff that will stand the test of time for decades to come without it coming under threat, right. I think like probably the levers are a good way to go. I mean, that's my take. I think California is a conspiracy to turn everything back into the Wild West. All they want you to have are levers and revolvers. So
I think so too. I get where you're coming from, but as far as a lever, I mean, on a lot of those, you really have to pay attention to the loads. Some are not conducive with certain projectile ogives or shapes for the layman. You don't want too pointy because all lined up in a tube, and even if it's got a loading gate, it's got a tube. I don't like the way that is. And if you start jacking with that ogive enough with like the hollow points, which is more flat on the tip, and it's more like straight on the side, there's not enough angle, not enough ogive in it, then you have feed ramp issues and other things you can have too. So yeah, mansplained.
Well, so it's just a matter of finding the right load for that gun, right? I mean,
yeah, basically, yeah.
Clover, did you ever see my zombie gun video?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't guess so.
Oh, okay. In there, because I chose my zombie gun, mare's leg. And I had found these quick reload tubes for tube-fed rifles. So
right.
I wasn't sure if you had ever come across these or not.
You could build those out of PVC pipe, just so you know.
Yeah, that's what I figured. But
you literally pull pull the follower or the whatever, the guide or the spring, pull that, and you all you need is a piece of PB tube just big enough to slide your rounds up in end to end to end, and then drill a hole through it. Put a cotter pin or anything, quick. Set it over the magazine, the tube magazine. Pull it, and all of them drop in, and you're good to go.
Yep, it's freaking awesome.
Yeah. Yep. That's a good idea. I've got a couple of those I built. I may have to, and I got the idea from my Dillon press with the primer loaders. Is where I thought, why can't I do that with tube bed stuff? I may have to make a video. Oh yeah. But I may have to make a video on that because now I think about it, I don't know that I've ever seen a video pop up with that kind of thing.
Yeah, like these ones that I bought, they just had like rubber caps over the ends. So you pop the rubber cap, drop in your rounds, put your plug back over, and start firing.
Right.
We're like an hour behind in the chat, so I'm gonna run through. So there's a bunch of them, I guess. We've done these before, but I don't know, they're either taking a long time to talk about each one or there's just more. So
I think that I was gonna say, who said the Thunder Rolls or Thunder Rolls by Garth Brooks?
I did.
Absolutely zero to do with guns.
No, it's in there. I'm gonna say
where?
When she realizes that he was cheating on her, she runs back down the hallway, gets into the dresser drawer, pulls out the pistol.
It's
definitely not good in any way because she ends up murdering her husband.
Right.
So then, hey, Joe, where are you going with that gun in your hand?
I don't think that's in there. Is that like a different version than like the normal one?
No, it's just like a couple other Garth songs where there's an extra verse.
Then we got let's see. That's I need to spend money. Angelina said my money's no good. Oh, so that's Patriot justifying his thirst for a new AK. He's a Marine. He's going to buy new guns. It's going to happen. He's just looking to put the blame on other people. The lights went out in Georgia. Is there guns in that one?
Yeah, he fired his gun. Sheriff patrol was making the rounds, so he fired a shot just to flag them down. The big-bellied sheriff grabbed his gun and said, "Why'd you do it?" Which he didn't. But
then we got The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, which is also a movie. So that's an interesting double.
All right.
I don't know how many of these others are turned into movies. Canyon, what is all that? Rude. There's the link, because unlike the coward shows that hide behind scripted, produced videos, we're live. You can be part of this, just like the comments are coming in.
All my videos are produced.
All right, you come into this one. You got that adds to your legitimacy, and you don't have to ruin your channel with a big hour-long thing like this. This ruins a channel. This destroys a channel. Having like an hour something long, you got to be legit to decide to destroy your channel's metrics with a long show that is only going to get a few views or short views. But I don't know what that is. What DJ's saying there. And then Clover saying the devil's right hand. I don't know that one.
Steve Earle and talks about guns quite a bit, from Cap and Ball to Colt Peacemaker, but I'm not real sure because it's like devil's right hand. My mama says the pistol is the devil's right hand, so it's like I don't know. He's talking about getting in a card game and cheating at a card game, and so that might have negative connotations, I guess, a little bit. Yeah.
I mean, that's if you throw the 2A angle on it. Otherwise, if we just call that gun part of it, then we're seeing guns and all kinds of reflections of guns and culture. Is that the way to say it? Through songs?
Yeah.
Then Patriot's saying he's never seen it. Of course, that's why he's asking about it. And yeah, I don't think very many people talk about the looks of the minis. That's why I figured I'd mention it, because most people are going to spend way much more money than they wanted to on it. And then once they have it, they're not going to be like, this is ugly. This is a dumb looking gun. This looks like my other gun broke. Yesterday saying, are you told the Patriot to go ahead on the AK pistol? I've got a PAP 92. Found the correct underfolder for. Well, that's a whole nother thing, whether if you're going to go under or side. But since we're an hour behind the comments, I will go sidetracked on an under side debate with AK folding stocks. But valid, worthy discussion to have. Hand on
Side
the pump.
folder or under folder?
Right. Hand on the pump.
Cypress Hill.
Oh.
And I'm a chicken hawk hunting for a chicken.
Battle on New Orleans.
Yep, that's Battle of New Orleans is
I don't know who sings that one.
which one?
Battle of New
Battle of
Orleans.
Battle of New Orleans is it's on the tip of my tongue. I can sing the whole song.
It's almost like a ballad or something, right? It's like a.
Yeah, it's
I think I remember it.
It's to a drum cadence, isn't
Johnny
it?
Horton. Yeah. It's like a snare drum. Battle of New Orleans is Johnny Horton, and it's 1814. Yeah, kind of thing. 1814. It took a little trip along with Colonel Jackson down to Mighty.
Yep.
Took a little bacon, then we took a little beans, and we caught the bloody British in a town called New Orleans or something like that.
Yep.
You're on it.
So then, Ghetto, you're talking about the Elvis one?
Mm-hmm.
Then talking about Cramps poster from the 80s in a frame or waiting for a frame. Been one of my favorite bands since she was a little baby, and her parents were 80s punks.
And I have to defer to Patriot in the Dark in the text chat, pointing out that yes, indeed, origin in the U.S. was definitely East Coast. I guess I'm such a fanboy of everything out of Lawndale on SST Records that I wanted SoCal to have equal rights, and they do not.
Come as you are.
Yeah, he don't have a gun though. He don't have a gun. Come as you are. No, I don't have a gun.
Oh yeah.
I don't have a gun.
Battle of Evermore.
That's that.
Yeah.
Oh. So that's interesting. There's a gun in a Led Zeppelin song. All right.
It's also the most J.R.R. Tolkien band in the world.
I was saying that. I like them.
What?
I like them.
Well, yeah.
I
But
really-
Gollum and the evil one crept up and slipped away with her.
I don't listen to that words of that. I just listen to music. So anyway, tell us Smell Like Teen Spirit. I don't.
It's hard to understand the lyrics, but the very first few words is load up guns. Load up guns, bring your friends. It's fun to lose and to pretend. Yeah.
That dude is the weirdest dude I've ever met.
I'm guessing that has not good connotations. It's all kind of ironic. And then we got Bang Bang by Dr. Dre. Oh, I know what that one is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh,
Ice
Cube and Ice Cube. Today I didn't even have to use my AK. I got to say it was a good day. That's how he concludes.
Clover's answers don't count. He had a show, listed them all if he remembers. I won that show's giveaway.
That was a long time ago. We did guns.
Oh, about these kind of things.
Yeah.
That's some shade.
Fun will go. Fun will go. Wing King. I don't listen to Wing King.
Yeah. Me either.
I never listened to it though. You guys already talked about Justin Moore, but Guns Barbecue brought it up again. You're just saying anything hip hop, not quite everything. Plus, it wouldn't all be good necessarily. Sometimes it's like there's like take your safety off your Glock type of stuff happening in rap. Don't let them take your gun, Grand Funk.
Literally the most 2A song there ever heard.
Yeah.
Which one is that?
But if we can go both sides of the pond, I think that might take. Wait, Grand Funk's from Canada, aren't they? No,
I don't know.
Terry, they're an American band. Jeez.
Yeah, it's got the Bill of Rights and a bunch of stuff in there, so that may be maybe you're right about that. Good job, PNW.
Woods wins. Walk off.
What's 1977? That was probably from something an hour ago that's appropriate to the time. Angelina's saying it's from the White. I don't know know again what that's chat lag.
Oh, chat. Happiness is a warm gun is from what
Oh, okay.
I think that's what you meant.
And then there was almost a fight. Luckily, the chat lag followed the fight.
Oh no, Angelina, I saw you. I see that. It's all good. I mean, I've been having your back in here all night since you won't show up, and
Man,
you know, and I've been defending your takes and saying that you don't just go home and iron clothes or whatever. But yeah, go ahead and keep talking smack. It's all good.
Every single puddle, Walt has taken off his jacket and put it down. Just saying, like we've noticed that.
You know she'll cut a bitch, right? Well,
I mean, I believe most women will.
okay. I just known her a while, and I assure you she can.
I don't know if we're catching up. Where we at? 11 o'clock?
Better.
We're still 45 minutes behind. It's going to get crazy here because now people are responding to me. We're figuring out that we're an hour behind. It's going to get weird. So Dead Horse shows up. Jay Monty is out there. And, McKay Joe, don't take your guns to town. Did we already come up with that one, or is that one still coming new? That sounds like one that we've missed.
Well, I mean, but don't take your guns to town. Isn't that pretty anti-2A? Like you should be able to carry everywhere.
But it's not so much like you don't have the right as much as, hey, you should have discretion. Like this isn't the appropriate time.
I mean,
to exercise your right. So you have the right to not take your guns to town too.
well, I mean, like I guess that's 2A, but that's bad optics 2A.
Well, no, if you're going to go to town to wail on the guy, because that's what that show's about, right? Like that song's about somebody has to go down to town to wail on some dude for being a dick. Mm-hmm. So if you're going to go down there, you're not going to bring your guns because it's not appropriate. You're going down there to fist fight. So it's like, hey, it's not appropriate. Leave your guns here. Right. Exercise your right to fist fight this guy.
Well, shouldn't you feel the discipline to be able to take your gun with you, but like leave it secured and then engage in the fist fight and then go back?
You're totally comfortable in your town. Your bystanders, your friends aren't going to shoot you in the back or nothing, and you just don't want it to be like any kind of consideration that the guy was scared that you were, you just don't want to have any propriety or whatever. It's like a duel. You're not going to put an AR on your back in a duel. You're just going to take the dueling pistol. Anyway, so getting back my bullets, I think that's another good one. Somehow we missed that one. Yep. Chamber pressure of the average 7.62 by 35 is 4,500 psi. Average chamber pressure of the 5.56 is 5,200 psi, with some up to 6,200 psi. The baller or the bigger bore of the 5.56 burns powder better. Oh, the ball powder maybe bore. What was he saying? The baller bore. The bigger bore? No, because it's not a bigger bore. I don't know what he's saying. The baller bore. I don't know what that means. 5.56 burns powder better in short barrels. 7.62 wins the fireball contest. So I guess he's saying even though there's more pressure in the 5.56, something about the bore means the pressure's good or the powder is going to make it burn faster. I suspected that, but like I said, I wasn't sure. And he would know. I think he's probably done it. I don't know if he's filmed it. Powder to fit, dependent, of course, but factory ammo equals better fireballs.
Yeah, Dead Horse would have like 3 or 4 of those, right?
I don't know about AK pistols. I know he's probably got one or something. Bubba shot the jukebox. You already said that one. He's copying off of you, right?
Yeah.
Bad Company. I think we already said that one. Barbecue's just copying. Talk about just taking home a paycheck.
Right.
There's where Clover said I shot every gun. Remember like 2 hours ago when Walt was like, Clover said he shot every gun. And then Clover was like, yeah, I said that like an hour ago or something.
With Steve.
I'm just going to zip through this. Uh-oh. Now we're going to switch to the.
Oh, that's what it took.
Entertainment portion.
All right.
I think we're done because now it's just a bunch of people commenting on our comments. I think I'm going to try to see if we find any that are new. The Bop Gun, is that a song? I don't know if that's an answer to something. Grand Funk, or did you already say that one again? Did we already say that one?
I just don't want to make sure that one didn't get skipped. It's the winner.
Bop Gun is Ice Cube.
Ice Cube.
Yeah.
I don't think
No, hold on, Texas. Bop Gun is Parliament.
Oh, we're not talking about the Ice Cube one?
Oh, I didn't know he covered Bop Gun. No, Bop Gun is a Parliament joint.
Really? Bop Gun.
Yep.
I can imagine they're going to get mad at Parliament. They can't tell what it is.
George Carlin is so cracked out anyway. George Clinton.
I was gonna say George Carlin is pretty cracked out, like his skull. Like
ballet commercial. YouTube really knowing their audience, giving me a ballet school commercial. All right, let's hear what this pop gun is all about. Oh, I don't think I've ever heard that one. Right.
Oh shit, I like that.
Yeah, you want it here?
That's fun. Yeah.
That sounds pretty good. It's looks like, to me, the album looks like Old Parliament. So it says 1977. So yeah, Old Parliament. Bat Out of Hell. I don't know why he just doesn't say it. He's typing it. And then DMX Rough Riders. I imagine I've heard that one. Anyway, I'll quit saying it because I think we've hit everything. If I'm missing one, let me know. What's up with this?
But I really wasn't kidding about George Clinton being completely cracked out. He was actually, last time I did an interview, he was so intent on getting back into the bathroom to hit his pipe. It was sad.
I mean, it sounds like you should have let him hit before the interview.
Oh, he had been. He had been.
Yeah.
He could barely stand up on stage, but that was more because of the crushing old age. I mean, that guy was around since he formed a doo-wop group called the Parliaments in like the 50s.
At this point, it's old enough. If he quits, doesn't he die?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so how do we vote on the best? How do we judge the offerings and pick the best 2A song?
Gotta be
May
great.
I?
Gotta be
May
great.
I?
Temptations, Rolling Stone have a gun in it.
What?
Oh, Heartbreaker, and yeah, we didn't hit the Rolling Stones at all.
Oh no, I said the Temptations. Daddy was a Rolling Stone.
Yeah, my bad.
I think they talk about a gun in that song. I can't remember 100% though.
Daddy was Rolling Stone?
Yeah.
What was the one with the Bill of Rights in it?
Grandpa.
Yeah, I think that one's going to take the cake because that one like speaks out pretty directly as far as it. And then I think like the runner-up's probably something like Bad Company.
It's going to be country, in other words.
Yeah, or like country rock or what have you.
Big Eye.
Well, if we can do one from each side of the pond, I'd still like to say Guns of Brixton is at least a close second.
Angelina, you were saying something?
I think Big Iron should win.
I don't know Big Iron. You guys keep saying it, so I'm going to go.
Big Iron. Actually, I'll put Big Iron. I'll tier it with Bad Company. We needed just a tier list for these songs. We shouldn't be like.
Big Iron on that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Marty Robbins. Because there's a bunch of like C and D tier, but there's not like there's some that are like that A and B tier, that we need to give credit to.
To the town of our freer rode straight to one fine day. Hardly spoke to folks around him, didn't have too much to say.
This was just back in the day when that kind of song was cool and they just made it. It wasn't like off of a movie or anything, right? It wasn't like the theme song of somebody walking down the street in a movie or something.
I mean, it's been featured in games and stuff since, so like it's still maintained a lot of popularity.
But I think it was just made at a time when it was cool to make a song like that.
What year did that come out?
What?
What year was that?
It doesn't tell me. I'm just looking at YouTube. YouTube.
That's the stuff my dad listened to back in the day. He's 82. That's his Led Zeppelin.
Big
Oh
Iron.
God, like 65, 59 maybe?
It's
No,
like-
1959. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's 59.
Yeah, you're about right. You're about right. Because he was in the army in 58, Germany. He was 17.
Marty Robbins, you're talking about?
Yeah, big fan. My dad's a big fan of that. There's a whole bunch of his stuff that's the old cowboy shooting guns and stuff, right?
right, so we'll go around and we'll let, now that we've picked a bunch of them, we'll let the people out there, you people who are listening, vote on one if you want. One vote each, and then we'll go around and let these you people in here vote once each. So that'll give us a bunch of votes, and then we'll see of that. So everybody will get to pick a song, and I'll do it like this. When you know your song, give me some kind of indication so that we're not just waiting for everybody. Like, does anybody need a minute to figure out what song they want?
Well, can we pop up can someone generate a quick bracket race?
No.
Okay.
In the middle of the night, I just said I got a whole bunch of shit running on my computer. So we're gonna run till 2 hours, I suppose. So we got 15 minutes to wrap it up. So we could in the future, or somebody could do that on their own show for sure. But Matt does that every Monday, and I don't make enough money copying off of him. So we'll just try
two honorable mention songs.
What?
I'd like to throw out 2 honorable mention songs. Nickelback, Never Again. Has a woman victim of spousal abuse that kills her husband. And of course, Dixie Chicks, Goodbye Earl.
Oh, yeah, I thought about that earlier.
Nickelback is always a pass.
Yeah, right.
No doubt.
By default.
I'll admit to liking them. I don't care. I'll be that guy.
You do you, barbecue.
We're okay with your wrongness. It's okay.
I will admit, though, I prefer old Nickelback, not new Nickelback.
I was going to say, shouldn't it be the exact opposite? Like, haven't they gotten less Nickelback-y over time? And they've gone more... Never mind. Let's just not.
Please don't stop.
So, do anybody else need any time to come up with their number one or their one pick? Or everybody already has their one pick.
Do we say our answer in here, or do we put it in the chat?
No, I'll ask you here in a second. I just figure instead of just making it take forever and everybody's waiting and trying to pick, I'll give everybody an opportunity to figure out what they're going to pick, and then we can go around and ask it quicker. And then I'll also throw it out there to the 12 you peoples that are watching this to type it into there at some point right now, basically, because they got all the time in the world. Plus, there's lag and stuff. I'm just zipping back and forth through here, trying to see if anything is going to change my votes. And I'll ask again if anybody wants to, if anybody else needs any more time. No? So I'll start going around. Walt, what's your song?
I think I'm going to go ahead and give it to Grand Funk Railroad. Don't let them take your guns.
Wait, where'd that one come from?
That one's been in the chat for a minute. We just talked about that one. That was the one with the Bill of Rights in it. And it's literally talking about the Bill of Rights and why resisting tyranny is important and da-da-da. So that one's going to take it for me because that's the most direct on the nose for 2A. So
what name was it called? Don't let them take your guns?
Yeah.
It's not just about guns. It's about not taking your guns. It just doesn't have a gun in it.
Yeah. They're taking your Bill of Rights away from you. My daddy said, son, don't let them take your gun. That's what they're trying to do.
Even like go fast. I'm not going to go fast now and listen to the song. I was mixing up 2 different songs, I guess. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, sure.
The basic fundamentals if you want to be free. The sun around.
It sounds like listening to that.
And it's got funk.
Got funk in here.
Railroad.
Sounds like listening to like one of them Saturday morning learning cartoons where they tell you how the Bill of Rights happens and shit. Like
Schoolhouse Rock, but 2A.
Yeah, it sounds like Schoolhouse Rock funk.
There we go, G-Webs. That's your next project.
We need that. That's a
Schoolhouse Rock 2A. Make it happen.
Yeah,
talk about a way to reach the youth.
Well, or the dumbasses who can only watch cartoons, right? If you make it anime, then we'll have 2A solved because everybody watches anime. Nobody watches live chat in the middle of the night. Otherwise, we've solved this already. We got 10 minutes. We got to solve this quick. So we got Waltz. We got Guns Barbecue next.
I have to go with Justin Moore, Guns.
So Justin Moore, and the name of the song is Guns?
Yep.
Okay, just making sure it's not like Justin's song called More Guns. All right. And then we got Clover Tap.
I go Grand Funk.
Same one as Walt. So that's 2 votes for Walt's song. All right. Then we got Woods.
He fell asleep.
No, I'm here.
He's not voting?
Grand Funk. It's my idea.
Oh, all right. Then we got Angelina.
Big Iron.
And then DJ.
Grand Funk. Don't let them take your gun.
All right. I haven't heard that song, so I was going to pick the, what's it called? The one about leaving your guns. Or Give Me Back My Guns. What was that song called? I lost it now. I had it in the chat here, and I lost it. The one about, like, give me back my guns or whatever.
Are you
Give
saying
me back my bullets.
that one? Where he left his gun?
No, I was thinking of the Marty Robbins one, I think. But the other one that you guys said. Isn't that the Marty Robbins one? About, or maybe it's Don't Take Your Guns to Town. That's what I'm thinking. Don't Take Your Guns to Town. But it doesn't matter. Grand Funk wailed all over everything with that one. Let's see if anybody said anything in the chat, and we'll go down to the bottom here. We got Grand Funk, vote from Patriot. We got Bury Me With My Guns from Pink. I didn't hear that one. Makojo saying Grand Funk should win, so. Atomic Dog is the only song from them I can tolerate. What?
Yeah, that's so late, too. Bow, wow, wow, yippee-yo, yippee-yay.
Yeah, Atomic Dog is fine, but it's sort of like they're going to close
Well,
the
that's
show or whatever. But it's like there's a lot of cool stuff from Parliament.
That's a Clinton Zola joint.
Guns of Brixton was the other one, and a bunch of people had voted for that one before they switched their votes. So, or did we ask DJ what his vote was?
No, I voted for Grand Funk.
Oh yeah, that's right. So yeah, you put your vote. Otherwise, you were voting for that one first too. So yeah, whatever. Like this, and the only time anybody's ever done this before. This is the most 2A version of gun chat with songs or whatever, and it's the most late and the most authentic one that you've ever heard. This is like if you went into like a real record store back in the day, and you went in there and it smelled funny. Like what the hell? This store smells funny. Like I don't know what this smell is, but it's not normal.
I know what that smell is.
And you went in there anyway. And then you're like, I want to buy something, and this is a store, but nobody's paying attention to me. Like, what the hell? Like, I really want to buy stuff, but I don't know what I want to buy. I want to buy something in here, though. And then everybody was like, we're in the back talking about songs in 2A. That's what this chat was like. So we're like we're in the back of that store chatting about 2A, and the other gun chats are like the guy that walks in, or the chick that walked in and goes, what do you sell here? You're not. I don't like the customer service here. I'm gonna Yelp this as bad customer service. And then they leave and they go, that store wasn't 2A enough. And literally, we're the only 2A store. We're the most 2A. So that was the 2A gun part. Which, watch, like a couple of days from now, all the chats, all the daytime chats that copy off of us, we'll be doing these like top 10 gun songs of 2021. And guess what will be the top one? You're welcome. So, what do we have? Battle for the bands for Sam? How do we do that? They'd be the band for the party? Oh. There's the college party movies? I don't remember that.
I remember Oingo Boingo being in Bachelor Party. I thought that was supreme.
I was going to say, I do remember, I guess, a couple of times bands were in movies when they were not whatever known yet or obscure or whatever. But anyway, so here we go. We got 6 minutes. Let's solve 2A or sell some records. That's what we're here for. Got to make the manager happy. Sell some records right at the end of the day.
I almost want to talk Clovertack into not being a FUD anymore, but I feel like he might be too stuck in his ways.
Uh-oh.
He's our FUD spokesperson.
Yeah, I know. The outreach there is important.
Right.
Being a FUD is a great way to live.
Problem is, you have to appeal to my way of thinking that FUDism is not it's not a bad thing. It's sort of like alcoholism.
I was gonna say, nice rifle there in your profile picture. Nice colored polymer furniture there. Pretty not FUDdy if you ask me, but I digress.
He's got a chest.
Plate carrier. Yeah.
And a cowboy hat with a big ass band on it.
Almost like a Chuck Norris version of a leprechaun, huh? A little bit.
Almost. I was just gonna say those symbols aren't too FUDdy until you get to the cowboy hat, maybe. But
you don't know what that rifle's chambered in, though. It could be chambered in 22. It could be airsoft for all that goes.
No, it's probably like 222. It's like 222 Wasp.
Right, some oddball, obscure wildcat. Yeah, that would be more.
I don't know.
More appropriate to FUD life. Yeah.
I wouldn't believe that that's airsoft. I wouldn't believe any self-respecting gun tuber would be caught dead with an airsoft gun for a profile picture.
I believe. It gets into, I mean, you haven't heard me talk about it, but it gets into this idea. I mean, everybody wants to bash on FUDs without realizing that there was at some point that the whole idea of the root word FUD comes from Elmer Fudd, comes from 200-year-old Scottish slang. And so if you walk that through the steps, and even if you look at Elmer Fudd, the character, there was a lot of ignorance there. And so people can be educated. So let's quit calling people FUDs and instead let's work on educating them.
I mean, I'm with it, but I mean, like, I guess when I think of a FUD, right? Like when I think of someone that would get called that, would get that label, I think of someone that like only owns wooden guns, not because they just happen to like them or whatever, but because they think the black guns are like evil and scary.
Mm-hmm. And
like I think of like the NRA trope,
that's great. And that's great. But how is that worse than somebody who only does 9mm or only does, you're welcome to Webs, or only does not own a revolver? Oh, I don't like revolvers. I wouldn't have a revolver. I don't. And you made a point earlier about them probably never taking away revolvers and lever actions and things like that. But what if they did? What if they decided, oh, we don't, we can't have these revolvers for whatever reason because, look at the cheap revolvers that were used in crime years ago or whatever the case may be, right? The tactical guy, he doesn't give a crap about that. All he cares about is his tactical semi-auto, look pretty stuff, right?
Sure.
So in that sense, how's that any worse, right? Or somebody that's only into self-defense, the self-defense aspect of firearm use. So their self-defense handgun is all they care about. As long as I can keep my self-defense handgun, I don't care if they go after semi-automatic shotguns used for duck hunting because I don't duck hunt.
Yeah, I don't think that the issue is like that someone has a preference. Like, I don't care if someone only likes wood guns because wood guns look cool and they can be pretty badass. Like, so I don't have an issue with that, and I own a couple. Well, I'm mostly focused on, like, for me, I'm that self-defense shooter for the most part. So like I'm mostly focused on that type of stuff. But I do own a shotgun for trap, right? I do own a 22 that came in a polymer stock, and I swapped it for a checkered like walnut one, Right. And so, like, I appreciate wooden guns. I think the issue is more like when someone's using the term FUD, there's the aspect that you're talking about, which is they're just making fun of what someone owns or what someone's into, which is dumb, and I agree. I think the aspect that when someone uses it critically, it's like you think only these guns should be around.
Well, my thing is people that do things critically are freaking name calling, and I'm tired of it. So I call myself a FUD. Everybody else, I don't have a problem if somebody calls me a FUD. And I've done research into like I said, the root of the word FUD. And when it comes down to ignorance and other people can be educated, and everybody out there at one point in time was ignorant to the Second Amendment. They were ignorant to, the potentiality, is that a word, that the things they may enjoy could be next on the chopping block or whatever the case may be. So that's more my crusade with the whole thing. And I mean, I get what you're saying, and I know where the connotation of it leads, but we don't get anywhere by name calling. So if I can call myself that, maybe it will curb people from calling other people that without trying to have some type of a conversation to educate them, because just name calling is not enough.
So it's
I lean into it.
That's what it sounds. So it's like taking back a label, right? Is kind of the idea.
Yeah,
because I'm very different than you.
More than that, though.
I hunted.
The goal is you could give about.
Like most of my early gun part, like if I'm defending my house, to be honest with you, I'm gonna grab my Mossberg 500 first because it works for me. Because I'm old school FUD from way back in the day. I'm great with shotguns. I'll shoot the snot out of stuff. Other firearms I'm not as good at, so I'm gonna take the best gun for me.
Yeah.
But like the tactical folks and all that, they get into like if you can't fight off SEAL Team 6, then you're gonna die somehow, and that's silly.
Oh, totally. Yeah. No, like, I mean, like, I think like that's a big thing with the training out there and everything, right? Because you have guys out there that are saying that type of stuff. And it's like, well, no, you're going to, like, if you have 5 guys bust down your door that are set on killing you, it's probably going to happen, right? You're up Shit's Creek without a paddle. If it's some like coordinated, whatever, right? So I think that there's, I think that there's definitely an aspect of that. I guess my next question would be, what is that root? What is like the origin of the term? Like, Clover, I don't know if we have time to get into it, but I'd love to hear that.
No, I got a blog post all about it, but basically comes in from Scottish slang, and it's basically somebody that more or less it's somebody that's ignorant, somebody that does something basically repeatedly without understanding the outcome or the consequence is going to be the same. Yeah.
Are those patches I see back there?
Yeah, I pay for the duck now, so I can fiddle with stuff when I forgot. So I put that background on there now. As people shuffle around, it's better than just a black background. I was just noticing that it was super black background, and I'm like, oh, duh, I can put whatever I want back there now.
My favorite part about that is I see a super, super rare Allen Acre patch.
Right now?
Yeah, it's right under Clover.
Oh, okay.
Like Clover's patch, not Clover in the chat, though.
I hear you. Now it would be under both.
Oh, yeah, it is.
So, first off, we normally run 2 hours, so you're already in 3 hours of extra free legitimate gun chat. Unlike the coward chats that end because their script ends, we keep going when the stuff is useful. So, you guys are talking about FUDs or whatever. I don't want to interrupt you too bad, but I think there's more than just justifying a type of firearm. That's what it started out as. Like when we back in the day were calling our grandpas FUDs, it was because they didn't like plastic, aluminum, or metal.
Right.
They didn't like aluminum. They didn't like plastic. So they didn't like aluminum first. Then they didn't like plastic. And they didn't like anything else. And then, they didn't like 9mm. Like we all didn't. It was just guns were different and tools changed or whatever. We didn't like plastic tools either. Nobody was buying a drill that was made out of plastic in the old days. In the 90s and stuff, drills and stuff, tools were still made out of metal because you dropped them every once in a while, right? It took a while for us all to understand that plastic could do things or whatever. So when we said FUD, that was the term that got pulled onto the internet. But from talking to Clover and stuff, I mean, he's reacting to your questions or your points or whatever right there. But I think the bigger picture is not, at least I interpret it as the bigger picture isn't just to have, like I say, to justify or to what's the word, like defend wooden guns or single shot guns or anything like that, but instead isolationism to what's the word, like to resist against the complacency of isolationism in the gun community. So FUDs are a thing, hunters are a thing, but what's worse, and Clover didn't mention it, but I've heard him say it before, and he's aware of this, competition shooters can be horrible. Long range shooters are some of the worst. People that do black powder and stuff that are coming from archery, are they even gun owners? Like, come on, there's all these like little areas that have nothing to do with fuddery. And now I've been against the defense of the Second Amendment based on personal defense or self-defense forever because of this. Because self-defense people don't understand or care about any other kind of gun at all. Like, they don't even talk about AR-15s half the dang time. Now, if you get into the habit of talking to people who like what you like, then you talk to a bunch of people that like 9mm pistol carbines, and they think they're the bee's knees. Guess what? You think everybody thinks they're great. And when you go up and say, I like my 9mm pistol carbine, some people are going, all right, well, at least you like guns. So here's what gets said. Okay, great. I agree. It's not a piece of shit. Like, I wouldn't own it, but you own it, and I'd rather you own it than not own it, right? All that kind of shit might be going through their mind, but, who cares? You own a gun, you're happy with it, great. But that's what I'm thinking the FUD thing is. It's a thumb to the quit thinking that your part of guns is it, or that we're all on our own, or that it's not even like you all need to go touch everything else or experience everything else. It's just that realize that there's more out there, right? Like, just because you like convertibles, there's also 4x4s and there's also limousines, and you can't start going, oh, I don't need limousines on the road because I like driving my convertible.
Right.
We just all have to be aware that when we go to the car show or something, or the whatever, that we all get together and we all get along, or when we all go to the gas station, maybe we all get along, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, and there's another element too of, the kind of where I tie it back into like alcoholism or whatever. What's a FUD? Always a FUD type thing, because we see it with people that they'll rat and rail and howl at the mood and shall not be infringed or whatever. But if life happens and you have a wife and kid and a family and bills and job, and at what point does something happen in your life where 2A is not the most important thing? And at that point, if you're not in the fight, if you're not dedicating the same amount of time to it all the time, 24/7, it's not priority on your list. At what point are you any better than a FUD? Because, or what you're calling a FUD, right? Because you've put something in front of the Second Amendment. And at any given time in our lives as humans, there's things that do come first. Unfortunately, they do. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you give up on it completely, if you go anti-gun, those are two totally different situations we're talking about than, something big has come up in my life. I have to handle this. Oh, wow, I've got it done. Thank goodness. Put me back in, coach. I'm ready to go,
Yeah, I think it's just like, I think our only disagreement here is going to be on like it's going to be semantics. It's just going to be on how the term is used. Because I think the term gets, I think that when there's the aspect, and I do agree that there's the aspect of people that use it to kind of slander like their own effectively in the community. And then there's I think there's definitely the people that are just pointing out like, look at, like if the definition of a FUD is someone who repeats the same mistakes over and over again, I mean, we could just say, well, someone saying, oh, well, the NRA are a bunch of FUDs would make sense. Like they literally repeated the same mistake over and over again with appeasement strategies on any of the new technology or just like fun range stuff to just appease the anti-gun lobby. So I don't find that I wouldn't find that inaccurate. I can understand why people could be offended at the term. And so like, I'm trying to put myself through that mindset of like, someone that is in the camp that would get called that when they're not that, or,
well, what is it when
here's the thing, you don't have to, you could disagree. That's fine. I don't view it as even something that you have to disagree with. This is just a perspective I'm putting on in a project that's wrapped around that perspective. So, if you don't believe what I believe, that's fine. And if you don't want to call me a FUD, or you don't think I am a FUD, you mentioned the avatar or something earlier, that's fine. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me either way. What I'm telling you is that's the whole point, is that I don't care. It's like, call me a FUD. I don't care. I'll own it. Because,
yeah.
So I don't know if anybody's watched Kurt Clerks 2, but it's hilarious. I won't repeat the phrase, but homeboy is taking back a certain phrase, right? He has it printed on his shirt, and it's one of them things. Is like, stare into it, call myself that, and let's get over this putting people in boxes and name calling and all this other stuff. There's way more to people than people are not one dimensional, and when you put people in a box, that's what you're doing. Is you're being one, regardless of what the issue is. You're being one dimensional, and we need to not do that. And so it's more of an awareness program to get that point across.
And the other side of it, I think, is when you do that, you're dismissing, I don't agree with that person. They're dismissed as this name or this category. Then what's that called? Because you're actually not taking any kind of initiative to change the scenario. You're just dropping it on the other person and walking away as if it's their fault, when really you've done nothing to understand their position or to anything. So that's my other problem, is when people just dismiss someone as being FUD, no matter what they're aiming it at. What they're really saying is, I'm not interested in paying attention. I can slack it off as saying blah, 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 and it's a joke now, and I can move on, and no one's going to say anything because it's socially rude or whatever to say, okay, you just walked away from actual doing anything about this or trying to educate or anything. You've just dismissed it, basically. So that's the other problem I have against the, FUD, dismissed, keep walking or whatever, make a joke out of it and keep walking.
Right.
I think that's fair. I think it's fair to say that, regardless, whether or not we agree or disagree on the use of the term, just the fact that we're having the conversation, right, I think is the actual relevant value here, right? Because it's hey, look, there's an entire class of people in the 2A community that just get dismissed for what their preferences are, and that's not right. So we're going to challenge that. That's
good. Here's the thing. We're talking to people who ain't woke. So you're talking to a bunch of people who don't get ever woke. And when they hear it, they're upset by it. They spit it out. So, okay, here's something that is getting the point across, that when you do it in your terminology and you understand, when we dismiss grandpa, we don't get the kids who are playing video games. That's a way to get the woke concept across to people who don't want to hear I want to compromise, because we're not asking them to, but you have to understand the other person's point of view in order to have an actual and effective conversation with them. And I started out this show because I just listened to another show today that was effectively, I will never have an effective conversation with the other side. In fact, I'm going to stand with a bunch of people who justify the position that we should just scream louder our position. And if they don't like it, then they shouldn't be covering their ears. We should be yelling louder, and they should have to take it. And when the hell has that ever worked for changing anyone's mind? All that does is make people submit to something who don't want to listen to somebody yelling at them.
Well, and here's another purpose of what I do with that is, people hear somebody call me a FUD. People hear myself call myself a FUD, right? And it does exactly what Walt took the bait. It sparks a conversation. What? Right. And now we can have that conversation.
You just awoke.
Right.
You woke them. Old-fashioned fuddery. It's FUD woke. So I'm going to go back to Dead Horse made up an awesome point here. We're bickering about this because we understand the nuances. I mean, this is, after all, the advanced class of gun culture. We're not some welcome to your first gun, or let's act like universal background checks, which created a ton of 4473s. I mean, there's a ton of newbie gun people out there. Yeah, there might be a couple, but most of us have been through this before. So in the rest of the world, we know that most people don't give a shit about what we talk about. We're the weirdos who really talk about this stuff literally every single night since 2016 nightly. If you ask a non-gun person what a FUD is, I don't care what Elmer's holding on to. Elmer is the buffoon, idiot, dupe, dumbass who Bugs Bunny outwits at every 15 minutes, right? So when we go around calling each other FUDs, what's that perception? I don't know if Dead Horse is saying this, but what's our perception from the outside world of us calling each other FUDs? Are we demeaning each other in front of other people? Do they understand that it's a light punch on the shoulder, like grandpa, haha? Or is it we're being angry at each other, and that's another reason why we shouldn't, even have guns, because we have to be mean to each other and shit?
I think it's the context. I think if we're doing it in the context of the FUD Life Project, I think that makes a total difference, because I mean, we're yeah, okay, somebody may call me that, or I may call myself that, but I mean, it's really easy to see from the context of the conversation. It's not being used derogatory. It's almost like black people using the N word in a way. You know what I mean?
Well, I agree that, like, in the respect that, like, it's going to be taken differently by everybody who sees it or understands it or hears it or, takes it out of context differently. It's going to be almost a wild card. Like, hey, I'm going to throw this out there and we think it's a nudge, nudge, but somebody who reads this without the right context might think this is an exclamatory situation here, or that we're really getting personal or something. So I hear what you're saying. It's not that extreme, but yeah.
And most non-gun people, I mean, Dead Horse has got a point. I mean, most non-gun people don't really get the connotation anyway from the 2A standpoint or firearm standpoint of things. So, that being the case, and that is the root of the word FUD, F-U-D, which is Scottish, basically boils down to, out of ignorance, that particular person continues to do something in the same way, shape, form, or fashion, while not recognizing that it's each and every time he's doing it, it's damaging and harmful, right? And so, but they don't. So they get exactly like you said, G. Wibbs. They see it as Elmer Fudd was this goofy dude, goofy guy with a gun, right? So it's no different than if we called each other a gun nut, right? And a lot of times that just means you're a really staunch enthusiast, right? But even if we said that, would somebody that was not in the firearm community or know the lingo, how would they react to somebody saying, "Oh man, you're a gun nut," just meaning that you have a bunch of guns or you like guns, right?
Not as bad, because you can be a car nut, so people know what that is. But yeah, I hear what you're saying. And it's if you said it mean, then we're going to take a smile or a laugh.
I think you're a robot.
Oh, am I having bad internet?
Sounded a little better the second time. Try again.
Oh, I don't need to log it. Is there anything else? I just wanted to hit Dead Horse's
that was it for me. I just wanted to ask Overtalk about that. I thought it was fun. So,
but we could have whole FUD chats. I think it's Clover's got a campaign, involved various campaigns or what that he's been addressing. You could do potentially a series on it, have people in to talk about it from different angles or something. I'll give you work.
Right.
So if anybody else is getting paid to just sit around and observe, wants to be part of the conversation and talk, feel free. It's Recording House Reach, as they say. Just jump in and be part of it. Otherwise, I'm kind of talking and scrolling through the comments to see if there was anything else. Notice how Jay Monty's like, okay, I'm leaving. And then like half an hour later, he's still commenting. So sorry if it disrupts your sleep cycles or whatever, or ability to get to bed on time, having a late show. But again, this is like when I was a kid, I'd have to go with parents to night school, like after work. And that's sort of what this is like after work, after dinner. This is 2A night school. Let's see. Was the character created for anti-gun reasons? We're talking about FUD. I think that Elmer Fudd was created to be a hunter against Bugs Bunny because Bugs Bunny was a rabbit. But I think it was because guns or hunting and everything was just like fishing or something. If Bugs Bunny was a fisherman, then Elmer Fudd would have a fishing pole. Or if
he was a
Bugs Bunny was a trout, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it was. I mean, look at just look when he was created, right? Look at the times. I mean, you had Bugs Bunny, and it needed to be a nemesis, and also Daffy Duck. And so, what's the nemesis? Basically, what's the nemesis of a duck and a rabbit? I mean, a hunter, obviously,
or a wolf or something. They just chose to be a hunter.
Yeah, and then, but you got, like I said, then you've got the connotation of FUD. If you go back into why he was named that, it's an old Scottish term meaning somebody that continues to do something out of ignorance. So what does Elmer Fudd do? I mean, he goes after the same rabbit or the same duck, and he falls for the same tricks that they play on it, but everything else over and over and over again. So That's where it came from. Mic drop moment, I guess. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I never looked into it. I mean, I knew Elmer Fudd, but like you say, I just figured he was a good bad guy for both Bugs Bunny and the Duck, unless they were going into space. And then it was what's his dude, and he had a gun too. It's just that, even though the alien guy was kind of dumb, he was an alien guy, so nobody considered him stupid, and Elmer was certainly stupid. I think there's something about Elmer though, like being an Elmer is not a compliment, right? And I don't know if that comes from him or if he was named after that, right? So in other words, you're saying he was named Fudd for a reason. He might have been named Elmer for a reason also, right?
I believe so. I mean, I haven't made any of the connected any of the dots with that. But I think so.
That horse saying Elmer Fudd was meant to be the anti-hero for people who like the bad guy but not hate him. That's why he's portrayed the way he is, like Tom and Jerry, like Tom from Tom and Jerry was the anti-hero. Yeah, exactly. He was supposed to be, well, I don't know. Yeah, I guess the anti-hero. Is that what you call like a good enemy? But yeah, he was supposed to be a bad guy who's really not that bad. He's just
Wile E. Coyote.
Yeah. But I mean, it makes sense and it goes along with the character. Like I said, I haven't been able to tie that. But if you take Elmer, I think like the root of Elmer is something like noble or something like that. And then so if you take that and you like noble idiot, for example, because that's kind of what Fudd would be, right? The noble idiot or the best idiot or the number one idiot, right? So I mean, it would be an appropriate name if they used, was utilizing the same context of those old words. I mean, those are words people haven't used in, good Lord, 100 years.
Well, they're playing funny, yeah, at the time.
Yeah.
Trade is saying you have to remember these are the same people that are scared of the shoulder thing that goes up on a rifle. So yeah, I guess if you're talking about the people that would be against Elmer having a rifle in the cartoons, I don't think they're afraid of the thing on the rifle so much as they're unaware of the thing on the rifle for sure. But I think they are afraid of the normalization of gun ownership or I guess that's it, right? What we always call the Overton winch, right? Like the normalization that a cartoon would bring. And that's why they feel they need to go after that whenever they can.
Right. So I don't know. I mean, getting into the whole cartoon thing and getting into the Elmer Fudd, what about Yosemite Sam? I mean, he had two guns, right? And it's like nobody, you don't hear, had they taken away his revolvers? I'm just curious.
Oh, they took away his guns a long time ago.
Oh, did they?
It was during YouTube time. I remember it happening. But yeah, I remember he used to like shoot his guns and go up in the air and stuff. He used to do stuff. He hasn't done that in a long time, has he?
Yeah, I don't know. I was just posing the question.
He was also rude and mean to people. I think they might have just taken him out of the picture and made him like a different personality. Right. I don't really watch cartoons like that.
Well, he was a redhead, so he was a ginger, so be fiery, I guess.
Oh, that horse saying Elmer, I thought comes from Elmer's glue. Someone stuck in their ways. Interesting.
Whoa, that could be that. I never thought about thinking about it like that. But yeah, if you're talking about why you would call somebody an Elmer nowadays, maybe.
I thought it was like a World War II thing. Like when they
well, but then
they could have been saying it about the cartoon. I really.
So then you've got Fuddy Duddy. Have you ever heard that phrase?
Sure. Somebody who's like real tedious about their stuff, or like
stuck in a previous generation or paradigm.
Old school, outdated. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, who'd they give the sickle to?
Elmer.
They gave the sickle to Elmer Fudd, I think, and he's supposed to, because it's much more humane to gouge the shit out of a little critter with a giant sickle. That's horrible. And then shoot him. But they gave the other one something else too, I think. Oh no, it was the alien guy. They got rid of his gun.
I don't know that. I don't see how it would have mattered because it's not like he ever shot Bugs Bunny anyway. So
he shot the shit out of the duck. He would shoot his beak the other way.
Right. Yeah, but he never shot Bugs Bunny. I don't think, did he?
Nobody ever died. At least you get shot and your face would turn all like into like like a lit match, right?
Right,
And
right.
here we go all funny, and then next scene it would be gone. So I guess they could say like, oh, you're worried that like people are shooting themselves in the face because they think that it's just going to wipe off the next scene or whatever.
Right, I guess so.
But that wasn't even all that often. That wasn't in every show or nothing. That was just like a couple of times maybe.
But I mean, good Lord, I mean, what are you going to do? How are you going to injure yourself with a sickle going chasing a rabbit? That's crazy thinking.
Well, it takes the gun out of there because it's also then they don't have to have any marketing, like any kind of toys with guns in them. They don't have to have like a little doll figure with a gun in its hand. They don't have to have a rug with a gun on it. So they're playing to the perception that guns are, whatever, obscene or not seen as a valuable thing or a value. I mean, there was a time when a gun was there like a heart or like a thumb up, or it was an indication of individual freedom or like, some version of individual freedom, right? Like seeing a gun that, oh, this person is free, like they have a gun.
Right.
Or maybe they're going into somewhere where it's dangerous or something, maybe.
Right.
I don't know. We're going all over the place. We're 2 hours, 26 minutes in. We could have ended it at 2:23, but that would have been too tactical for a FUD conversation. So we're going to end it at something like 228, the Wizard, like some goofy Wildcat cartridge that may or may not actually exist.
Could go to 229.
That's not funny enough. A FUD number here. Not very many FUD numbers to begin with, so we're not going to really.
If you do 228, we could just say it's a double barrel 28 gauge.
Yeah. This isn't one of them reaching or one of them chats that settles like the daytime chats. This is a nighttime chat. We only settle for the best. So with that, though, I'm going to end it because we've been going for a while. And if anybody else has anything vital, though, we could say it real quick. Otherwise, we're here every single night. We've been here since 2016, and we'll be here every single night until we quit doing the show because we don't have enough money to do it. So, anything? No?
Buy things from AlanAnchor.com.
Alan Anchor, for stuff for your store. If you're trying to get the word out into the new year, that not just the merchandise, but help with figuring out how to get a logo that pops, how to get the logo into a design that can be used on multimedia, print or paint or cut. A lot of things get cut out of things. You can help them with all that, right? Like a little bit of consulting and or just do the work for them.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff. Business cards, graphics, embroidery. So that'll be a thing.
So anything you might be doing. In fact, I've got somebody who I need to send your way with some. Send me an email. I'm going to send it over to you. So, anybody else got anything else to plug on the way out?
I don't think so.
Right on. So, thanks everybody for showing up. This is the advanced class. We're not like the feeble daytime chats that depend on scripts, hide behind programmed, what do I say? Highly edited stuff that they put out with the intent of stealing your money. What we do is offer a place for the evolution of conversation to develop and I want to say evolve twice. I'm going to say evolve anyway. But thanks for showing up. Now it is 2